for the first ever meeting between number 18 Iowa State, number 13 Miami. These two teams with unfinished business, and that Pop-Tart wanting to go down in flames as the best that's ever done it. We will decide, and they will decide who exactly gets that honor. 45th bowl game in Miami's storied history. The Hurricanes take the field in Orlando. So Miami team that was on verge of the college football playoff blew a 21-point lead in their season finale against Syracuse, missed out on the ACC championship game, and here they are to close it out. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik down on the field. We've got a toaster in the booth in case you did not know this sensational trophy actually pops the Pop-Tart.
It's a toaster.
We got 750 watts coming from this bad boy in this Miami team with an elite offense. Iowa State with a great offense. It should be a high-scoring affair today, and we got 82 seconds before they pop.
Yeah, and you mentioned, I think both these teams, a lot of unfinished business. Mario Cristobal came to Miami to bring them back to prominence, the prominence that he experienced as a player, winning 2 national championships here, and they were just outside the college football playoff. I think that 11th win for the first time since 2003 would be massive for this program, getting some momentum going into next year. In Iowa State, they're already on a historic run, 10 wins for the first time ever, and they got something to prove as well today, trying to get to that 11th.
With 30 seconds from glory, how did Miami get here? We're going to tell you exactly how they got here. They got off to an incredible start in front of a record-setting offense. Cam Ward has led them to 10 wins under head coach Mario Cristobal for the first time since 2004, and the nation's most prolific offense in both points and yards, and Cam Ward, the most prolific quarterback in all of Miami's history. We think about the names that he's with and what an accomplishment that has been for a guy who is a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. His college football journey comes to an end today, and Ward, one touchdown pass away from passing Case Keenum all-time in career touchdown passes.
Yeah, he's got a chance to cement his legacy as one of the best to ever do it in college football, and again, like I mentioned, a chance to cement his legacy as a Miami quarterback and what he's been able to accomplish here. But you talked about it, starting his career at Incarnate Word.
They just flew right out.
Pop-Tarts already. Yeah, hey, you know what? 5-second rule. I think it's
they
nice
got
and
ejected.
warm.
What about the
you got to be ready. I thought you played tight end. You got to be ready for it. You always got to be ready.
That's a sign to take the over. It's cold. These offenses are going to be humming today, including this Iowa State team that got here behind Rocco Beck. And what a season it's been for this Cyclones team. They got here through the best start in school history, and they got here with a 7-0 start, and then they just kept rolling from there. But 6-6 over, or pardon me, 3-3 over their last 6. It's a school record in wins. They've never obviously won 11. They have a chance to do that today with 2 1,000-yard receivers as teammates. They got launched right out of the toaster from the get-go. We'll see how Higgins and Knoll perform today. And Cole, they got a quarterback who knows how to spread it around. The winningest in 2 years in Iowa State history.
That's right, Tom. Rocco Beck took over in unforgiving circumstances when he became the quarterback here at Iowa State, and has excelled. 3,000 yards passing, 20 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. No other Iowa State quarterback, including Brock Purdy, has done that. And it was right here in the state of Florida when he started for his high school team under similar circumstances. Started his freshman year for the freshman team. Then his sophomore year, the starting quarterback, Hunter Helton, walked away 1 week before kickoff. He was thrust into action. A team that had 25 seniors on it. He had to learn to adapt, had to learn how to get along with those teammates. He's done that here well again for Iowa State, trying to set more records for this team today in Orlando.
Michael, thanks. Great outfit. It wasn't just the quarterback that was out, part of that controversy, but a number of players late in the season. Matt Campbell and company regrouped, and behind Beck and this fantastic offense, they've gotten to a point now where they are a program of stability. About all the great trophies we have in sports history. Lombardi Trophy is one. The Claret Jug, the Wanamaker. I just want to make more Pop-Tarts.
I think this is going to go down as one of the greatest trophies of all time. I mean, the Oscars are cool, right? That trophy's iconic, but take home one of these because it's functional. Put it in the kitchen, display it for everybody to see, and pop some Pop-Tarts out of it.
Who knows what you could put in there. Iowa State fans have traveled well. That was expected. That guy's grooving and ready to rock and roll. First ever meeting between Iowa State and Miami. Chase Gilbert will put the ball in the air to get us started. And Jordan Lyle back to receive for Miami. And we're are underway in Orlando. The glory of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. And no return for the Canes. So here's Cam Ward, senior from West Columbia, Texas. His college football journey ends today, and it could end not just in Pop-Tarts glory, but he could be by passing Case Keenum, the most prolific touchdown passer in the history of college football, tied with Keenum, 155 passing touchdowns for the most in Division I history.
In an era where no one would blame him as a surefire top 5 pick of not playing today, to go out there with your teammates, a chance for some individual records, a chance to go out there one last time with your team. Pretty cool to see Cam Ward suiting up.
Damian Martinez is his running back. We've just learned Miami will be without. Ball got loose, and the ball is fought for it. It looked like Miami fell on it. Iowa State claims the Cyclones have it. The bottom of the pile, it's ISU. Kale Brazina playing for the first time in 5 games for this depleted linebacker core, comes up with a huge play on the first snap.
Yes, center Zach Carpenter. He's going all the way to the left, and sometimes when you're going left as a center, that ball goes with you. It's high to the left, and a huge turnover to start this game. In great field position for Iowa State.
Didn't have time to mention Xavier Restrepo is out for this game for Miami, and Jaden Higgins, one of the 2,000-yard receivers for Iowa State, is not expected to see action today. They still have number 13, Jaden Knoll, 1,000-yard receiver out there, and under the direction of Rocco Beck. Three tight ends, including a tackle in James Neal, and we've got movement up front.
I think everybody on a little bit of a sugar high right now. Just settle down.
Cole, are you still in the mascot costume?
Absolutely not. It's a little steamy after we had a mist here before the game, and the sun's now coming out, so that humidity is not going to allow me to do that, Tom.
Well, so you're saying it was a little toasty in the costume.
I had to pop out of that costume real quick, though.
Jeff Heisler is their white hat today. That flag was against Miami. Rocco Beck, third-year sophomore from just down the road, Wesley Chapel, Florida. Wiregrass Ranch High School. Cole mentioned he took over sophomore year of high school and took over when he was unexpected to start for Iowa State. Laquan Patterson with the stop for Miami, and now Iowa State gets a little bit lighter. Where is Iowa State's offense when they're really humming?
Well, it's the run game through the tight ends. It's moving 2 and 3 tight ends around to create unbalanced situations and larger surfaces to create angles in the run game. And then in situations like this, allowing Rocco Beck to distribute the ball like a point guard.
Shifts again, including Jalen Knoll, and now Gabe Burkle goes in motion and retreats. The boot for Beck, and he fires to the near side wide, trying to find Isaiah Alston, who doesn't have a catch on the season. You're missing Jaden Higgins, who's got 1,100 yards and 87 catches. The next leading receiver between Higgins and Knoll is Eli Green, who's got 7 catches on the year. So that depth takes a huge hit, missing just one guy.
7 catches in 13 games. So chemistry and being on the same page is going to be an issue today for Rocco Beck and some of these new faces on the outside, as you mentioned, without Jaden Higgins, their best guy.
Third down 4. Beck fires complete. Looked like it was short of the marker. Jalen Knoll made to be a half-yard short. The Iowa State team is one of the best in the country on 4th down, 81% clip. They are second best in FBS behind the Gophers of Minnesota.
Yeah, and they're going to get big. A couple extra linemen trotted in the game. One of them, James Neal, number 93. So there's going to be a lot of beef in there. But offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser said he's got some trickery up his sleeve as well. Does he use it here on 4th down?
On the I formation.
Extra lineman over there to the right of your screen.
Toss, and they find room for the first down as Carson Hansen takes it down to the 10.
And they run, look at it, 4 linemen to the right of the center. There were 7 offensive linemen in the game there. Taylor Mauser bringing in the beef for that 4th and short. And a great job of just caving down that good defensive front for Miami and picking up a few.
It's the second time you've mentioned beef. Is that a new Pop-Tarts flavor? We got 24 of them. Can we Mix in something savory.
I like where your head's at.
Let's work on it.
We'll talk about it with marketing.
First and goal for Iowa State. Looking for their first ever 11-win season. Beck popped it up and then quickly pounced on it. Both teams a little sloppy here at the outset.
Yeah, Beck's doing a little token play fake here to Abu Sama, the running back, and just gets it caught. The nose of the ball caught on Sama's hit there. A sloppy little start here for both sides. This is where they really miss Jaden Higgins, though. It's 6'4" down here in kind of the low red zone area. This is where they love to take shots, back shoulder, slot fades to him. So who's the go-to guy down here now in the red zone with Higgins out?
On second and goal, Beck fires to the flat, and immediately Gabe Burkle gets taken down. Markeith Williams in on the stop for Miami. This is a Miami secondary that has been shredded over the course of the season, including in that season finale at Syracuse. And they're missing a couple of guys on the back end as well today. Yeah, they're missing Daryl Porter, nickel, Jadis Richard obviously was out as well. So going to be kind of musical chairs on the back end there for a few guys for that Miami secondary. Could have Mish Powell, normally a safety, playing corner today. Third and goal. Beck fires. It is caught. Sensational hands by Gabe Burkle. It's a 9-yard strike, and Iowa State is on the board.
Oh, that's a great job by Rocco Beck, hanging in there under pressure. And I mentioned, without Jaden Higgins, your 6'4" wide receiver, who's your target? Well, how about 6'6" tight end Gabe Burkle here? Throws it up, climbs the ladder with tight coverage from Wesley Basaint. And a great catch and throw there. Or throw and catch would be the way they do it.
Cal Conradi with the point after. And Iowa State takes advantage of the turnover. 7-play, 22-yard drive. Rocco Beck throws his 23rd touchdown pass of the season. And the Cyclones sitting at 10 wins, off to a great start in this bowl season.
Tina Shea, TLC, and more.
Now there's a reason to celebrate.
Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve live on ABC.
Iowa State with its third straight game with an opening drive touchdown. That's the longest streak since 21 for these Cyclones. Rocco Beck is a tough cookie. He's a real competitor, and he's got some great talent around him. Both of these teams thinking of this bowl in many ways as unfinished business, as close as each was to making the college football playoff. Iowa State hasn't won a conference title since the Titanic was still sailing. That was in 1912. No return from Miami. Let's look at today's clutch delivery, brought to you by Chipotle.
Well, a future top 5 pick is Cam Ward. I think it's because he's the most talented thrower in the entire country, but his superpower is his ability to extend plays within the pocket. 7 seconds here. This secondary's got to cover, throws it into coverage, and his guys usually come down with it, but really his true best ability is his arm angle. The way he can manipulate that. He'll even go submarine at times, throwing around offensive linemen in the RPO game. He can get it to his guys a million different ways.
It's a single season record, 10 300-yard passing games for Ward. They try to run it against the Iowa State defense, and Davey Martinez is off to the races. 75 yards of deliciousness on the touchdown run by Martinez. Iowa State struggling against the run the last 2 games, and Martinez took advantage. 10th touchdown of the season for the junior from Louisville, Texas, who drove to Miami from Corvallis after transferring from Oregon State. How many boxes of Pop-Tarts could you go through on that drive? Andres Borregales for the point after. And we are locked at 7, 4 minutes in.
Boy, 2 big blocks really sprung Damian Damian Martinez in on this one. Left tackle Jalen Rivers is going to come all the way around and get McLaughlin right here. But watch Jacoby George come in from the receiver spot with the ceiling block on the secondary player, the corner right there. And Martinez runs through one ankle tackle and off to the races. He has had a monster second half of this season. A little slow start. He was a back-to-back Pac-12 all first-team player his freshman and sophomore year. Doak Walker, finalist, and kind of didn't really find his footing the first half of this season. Mark Fletcher was getting a lot of run. In this second half, he has absolutely exploded and looked like the Damian Martinez that we all saw at Oregon State jump onto the national scene there.
Jordan, you mentioned what he added. It was really what he lost over the course of the first few weeks of the season. Aaron Feld, strength coach from Miami, told me when he showed up here in the summer, he was like a potato. That's what he called him, and said he dropped about 12 pounds the first quarter of the season, got a little bit lighter, and that speed has shown up for Damian Martinez, specifically in the second half of the year.
I don't think a potato comparison is pumped.
No.
I just throwing it out there.
Pop-Tart, you know, so he got a little thinner.
Wider but thinner.
A little faster, a little hotter, a little toastier.
Potato to a Pop-Tart.
No, it's a great point, though, Cole, because Mark Fletcher was the guy that kind of had some of that burst in the run game, and Damian was slow getting going, but knocking off those pounds, he's looked like a different guy.
No return for Bussac. And here's Rocco Becht again. Rocco Becht grew up in a football family. Dad played for a long time in the NFL as a tight end. Good friends with a lot of different NFL quarterbacks, including Chad Pennington, who worked well with Becht. Early on in his high school career, said, here's a 25-point checklist. Go through this each and every week, and that'll help your preparation. Back down to the shotgun. And now a check. And here's the freedom that he plays with, the check at the line of scrimmage to Carson Hansen. And Hansen does not gain a yard.
And Tom, I spoke to Anthony Becht, Rocco's father, before the game today, and asked him about that preparation, that checklist that you mentioned. He said, we came up with it back in high school. After his sophomore season was when it really hit him, and said, Dad, I got to get in the weight room, got to get stronger. Dad, I need to change my preparation a little bit. And actually finally asked Anthony for help. But he said he's added a lot of things that are his own to that pregame checklist, pre-week checklist that he now carries with him week to week.
Four-star recruit, but only two other power offers from Ole Miss and Wake Forest. Stunts up front, Becht on the road. Runs right past the linebackers and is able to pick up the first down.
And that right there, really one of the underrated aspects of his game. The escapability. And he's not a guy that jumps off the charts in any physical attribute, right? You could say that about Cam Ward and his arm talent and his size. Rocco doesn't have that, but he's got a great escapability, some moxie, and a great feel for the pocket, as you saw right there.
That goes over the middle. Good hands again by Gabe Burkle. And he's got another big play. Already owns a 9-yard touchdown catch and now a 20-yard first round on the catch and run.
And I want to go back to that preparation that you alluded to, Tom, the checklist, right? The 4-day checklist. It's structured, how he goes through film preparation so he's ready for the game. You're going to see him check a lot at the line of scrimmage, something they didn't even do really at all with Brock Purdy, a guy that is known for his preparation. So it just tells you how much they trust Rocco Becht and how much he puts into the mental part of the game that allows him to make decisions on the field.
Here's the end around into the hands of Jalen Knoll. Knoll's got Klotz blocking for him and is able to rush to the 35, and that'll be a first down to the 33-yard line. How rare is it for Rocco Becht to have that level of freedom at the line of scrimmage?
Well, it's hit or miss, right? You got guys that you trust to do it and guys that you take all that off their plate because you want them to play fast and not think. Rocco's a guy that can make those decisions, so they'll put two plays in his helmet and he'll choose at the line of scrimmage which one, whether it's a run to pass, a run to run, sees the defense and makes that check on his own.
Steve-O Klotz flips to the right side. Here's Eli Green in motion. Love that side of the field and flips it out to Green. This is 8th catch of the year for the transfer from North Dakota State.
And you're starting to see the plan here from offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser of attacking the perimeter. Got a lot of respect for the size and the athleticism of this Miami front. They're going to try to play this game outside of them if possible.
Hansen on the handoff, takes it to the house. 30-yard touchdown run for Carson Hansen. We've had 3 possessions and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, a great block by left tackle Jalen Travis. They're going to wash everybody down this direction, get everybody going this way. But watch Travis turn the corner here and hold up to give Carson Hansen the seam right there. Taylor Mauser mentioned on the field when we were talking to him, we run so much better towards the left. They went to the right that time, but it was their left tackle, Jalen Travis, with the block to spring Carson Hansen.
Only empty possession for either offense was Miami's turnover. Iowa State took advantage of that. And then the long run for Hansen, the first Cyclone since Breece Hall with double-digit rushing touchdowns in a single season.
The Pop-Tarts Bowl is brought to you by Pop-Tarts. Crazy good. And Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Well, you can have Pop-Tarts without a toaster, but it's just not the same. 1880s fire was used to heat bread in the very first toaster. Here's the evolution. We spare no expense in teaching you about the tools of the trade. Pop-Tarts without a toaster would be like Yanni without a pan flute. I mean, sure, you can hang out with them, but really, this is what makes it better. That is a catapult action. Oh! Should have rehearsed.
There I was trying to give some football insight, and
Do we get
missed our
hazard pay?
Pop-Tarts. We should, because I didn't get to eat that one. It dropped on the ground. I mean, I had a bite.
Yeah,
don't tell
you
anybody.
still ate it. Just 3-foot-tall, 75-pound trophy with 750 watts running through it to toast those Pop-Tarts.
Tell you what, I just housed a hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts in the break.
Yeah, what would you give it?
High quality there. That's moving up my list.
What's your over-under today?
I've eaten 4.
Okay, what's our goal?
24, I think we set the over-under at. So we got some work to do. So does Miami. Oh, you got it. Pumpkin pie. Let's go, Cole.
You're going to like it, but yeah, it's big time.
Yeah, I can tell.
We're going to call Cole Crumbles. Miami fumbled on its opening drive. Iowa State has scored on each of its first 2 possessions. And this Iowa State defense has been susceptible to the run. They gave up 245 yards to Arizona State in the Big 12 title game. They already got gashed for 75. They allowed 200 yards or more 5 times this season. So John Haycock has devised on the defensive end for Iowa State going back to 2017 was first and foremost a defense to slow down the air raid and spread options of the old Big 12. I say old like I went around for that, but like 5 years ago.
Yeah, Mahomes and Mayfield, when everyone was going 100 miles an hour, throwing it all over, this 3-3-5 structure, 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 secondary players, but really 3 safeties. And this is the difference maker, having that safety play in the middle of the field, almost like a linebacker playing at like 12 yards.
Bo Freeler is their leader at that position. They try to set up the screen to Elijah Arroyo, and he was immediately taken down after a gain of a pair by Dominic Orange.
And because of that structure, Miami hasn't played anybody like this all year. Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, likened it to playing a triple option team. He said, look, we're going to run a bunch of run plays and schemes that we haven't run all year. They're much more of a zone-oriented, zone-blocking team, much more gap schemes, some pullers against this 3-man front to try to create leverage opportunities. And they wanted to get heavier, too, more tight ends. As you see here, 2 tight ends going from one side of the field to the other.
Widen that surface out.
Yep.
Arroyo, their 3rd leading receiver, he escapes to the flat. They try to run it straight ahead, and a powerful run by Damian Martinez to pick up Miami's first down. He bounced right off of Jontez Williams.
Boy, they didn't block anybody there. That's all 6 foot, 232 pounds of Damian Martinez. He gets met in the backfield here and just keeps his feet churning. And Jontez Williams, 5'11", 200, realized, man, that 30 pounds. That's a lot of Pop-Tarts.
He was tough going back to his high school days. He broke his right hand in the regular season finale, came back out, played with a cast, and carried the ball to the left hand and went for 4 rushing touchdowns in the first playoff game. Started at Oregon State, now at Miami. And enough of a hole and enough daylight this time for Mark Fletcher to pop through for gain of 7. Well, the running game is rolling right now for Cam Ward, but this has been an offense through the air that rewrote the Miami record books. The first ever ACC Player of the Year in Miami history. Finished fourth in the Heisman balloting. He won the Davey O'Brien Award as the nation's best quarterback, all for a guy who was a zero-star recruit coming out of high school. Started his journey at Incarnate Word, then to Washington State. And offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, whose roots are in the air raid, said one of the things we really liked about him, because it's a guessing game, is the fact that he'd operated in this offense to a degree. He goes over the top for a first down to Elijah Lofton, the freshman from Las Vegas.
Yeah, we mentioned all the receivers out. 3 out of the top 4 from Miami. They're going to lean more on tight ends today, and true freshman Elijah Lofton from the slot position here, just running a corner, doing a great job of fighting through contact through the first 5 yards of that route. And again, that's what Cam does so well. Drift, buy time in the pocket, and deliver strikes downfield.
Ran the wing tee in high school. He only attempted 12 passes a game as a high schooler, and then blossomed into an elite quarterback. Flea flicker, got 2 on routes, going to go deep to the end zone. Off the hand of Elijah Lofton. There is a flag. 2 of them down in the end zone. Bo Freeler had a fistful of the 230-pound tight end.
Defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
And I circled Bo Freeler as that middle safety that's kind of like a linebacker playing at 12 yards. So he gets his eyes in the backfield on the flea flicker, thinking it's run. Lofton runs by him, but you can see the jersey tug there. Lofton got him at the end there, but before that, Freeler was trying to gain ground back and got Lofton's jersey in the process. Great play call, though, for that center field kind of linebacker safety hybrid that Freeler plays there.
Is Freeler's 36th consecutive start this afternoon. Under 5 to go first quarter. Ward pulls it back, has man coverage. Goes underneath to Jacoby George. And George dances out of bounds onto the sprinkled sideline after a gain of 19.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of Jacoby George with no Restrepo, no Horton, no Sam Brown. He's been the number 2 receiver all year, and he's been on an absolute tear the last 3 games. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 121 to cap the season off against Syracuse. Expect he's going to get about 15 targets today.
First and goal for Miami. First drive, they turned it over. Second drive, a 75-yard run on the first play. And now the seventh play of this drive. Off balance, lob into the end zone to Jacoby George for a 4-yard strike. And Cam Ward has now passed Case Keenum for the all-time passing touchdown record, no matter the level of college football. 156th in his career, spanning the years that he spent on the FCS level at Incarnate Word and then Washington State, now Miami.
Not bad for a 0-star coming out of high school. And a guy that's going to be in the top 5 of the NFL draft come April because of throws like this.
Point after is good.
The ability to manipulate the trajectory of the ball. This is an RPO. Usually throw this on a line, but a linebacker gets right in the window, so a little touch throw over the top for the record-setting touchdown.
We got a shootout here early on in Orlando. Make sure those Pop-Tarts are frosted. Thank you, Allstate. From Camping World Stadium, Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik. First ever meeting between these 2 programs, Iowa State and Miami. Miami with a great postseason tradition. Iowa State's very thin postseason tradition. But, man, have they turned it around under Matt Campbell, who's been locked up to a longer contract and more stability. Borregales kicks it away. And that one's going to go right out of bounds. Coming up next, our ABC triple header finishes up with number 17 BYU taking on number 23 Colorado in the Valero Alamo Bowl. Deion Sanders told that broadcasting crew that has it tonight it will be an emotional one for him and his sons, their final go-round. And if you're watching ABC today, you get 3 of the top 5 prospects in this summer's NFL draft.
Yeah, usually don't get that. Usually these guys are sitting on the couch or getting ready for NFL draft prep, but love the fact that you have 3 of the best to do it in college football this year, all playing in these bowl games with something to prove. We're getting a good look at Cam Ward here. You'll get a great look at Shedeur Sanders later. One of those guys is going to be the first quarterback picked in April.
Rocco Beck facing pressure, stands tall and to Knoll, but incomplete. He was locked up on the back end by O.J. Frederick, honorable mention all ACC quarterback.
Yeah, and he's their best guy on the outside. This Miami secondary really banged up, matched up there on Jalen Knoll. Best guy for Iowa State with Jaden Higgins out, but Frederick made an immediate impact. Obviously, as a true freshman, wasn't here in the spring, came in the summer, but by midway through fall camp, already their best player on the outside, and he's only gotten better as the year's gone on.
On 2nd and 10. The sweep action, and that turns into a massive gain for Iowa State. A pickup of 11 on a handoff to Aiden Flora.
Nice little design. Miami was stacking the line of scrimmage, showing blitz. So nobody really at the second level. Cam Pruitt there, true freshman.
Started out as a great play by Cam Pruitt.
It
just couldn't get him to the ground.
Yeah, momentum kind of took him forward.
Miami team that has had tackling issues over the course of the season. But a top 25 defense overall for the Canes. 4-man rush, Beck over the middle, count incomplete. Frederick was right there. Rocco Beck playing pinball.
Yeah, just missed this one. Simeon Barrow's going to come right there towards the end of that. Right before Rocco Beck let that ball go, and I think that affected his ability, his vision to want to put that out in front of his receiver, Carson Brown there.
The shortcoming for Beck literally is his height. He's listed at 6 feet. We'll see a lot of different arm angles from him, but he has to compensate numerous times.
Yeah, he's going to find any kind of lane to throw the football that he can.
They pull it to the left, and the handoff to Saba, who takes it to midfield. Will set up 3rd and a long 6 after the tackle by Ruben Bain.
Yeah, another time there where Iowa State got heavy, brought in an extra offensive lineman. Then motioned Rocco Beck to running back and ran a little wildcat there. Taylor Mauser, the ops coordinator, said he's going to throw everything at this Miami defense. Still one trick play that he told me they got in the bag down on the sideline. I haven't seen yet. I'm obviously not going to tell you what it is.
Oh, no, tell me.
No.
It's the last game of the year. Do you think Miami's listening?
Someone's listening.
7. In motion, Burkle. Beck firing down the sideline. Wide open. Jalen Knoll to the goal line. And in. Touchdown, Iowa State. There's a flag down in the backfield. Looks like a hit to the head of the quarterback. A 50-yard touchdown for Higgins. 10th touchdown of the year. Pardon me, 8th touchdown of the year.
Is a touchdown. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. That penalty assessed on the ensuing kickoff. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Jalen Knoll, the senior from Kansas City, will take another look and see if he crossed the plane before the knee came down.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. That play is under further review.
Yeah, I think it's not the knee. The hip comes down, but I actually think the elbow of the right hand comes down first. Yeah. I think with the other angle, you can tell it's maybe a half-yard short. But a heck of an effort by Jalen Knoll and a great route. Little double move on true freshman Zaquan Patterson there on the back end.
The first play of the season for Iowa State was a 54-yard reception to Jalen Knoll. He's got
it's a great angle here.
Ability.
I think that right elbow down, I think that ball is going to end up being just a hair short.
We got Matt Austin watching with us. Matt, how do you see the end of this play?
Tom, I agree with Jordan. I do think the elbow's down with the ball short. The problem is, without a shot right down the goal line, I'm not sure if the replay official is going to be comfortable overturning it. The other side of it is,
After further review, the runner was down at the 1-yard line. Therefore, we will enforce the roughing the passer from there, half the distance. The ball be placed at the half-yard line. First down, Iowa State.
yeah, that's a good overturn.
Matt, the real question, what's your favorite Pop-Tarts flavor?
Oh, you got to go with it's strawberry.
Yes, old school.
Yeah.
Traditional, classic. That may be one of the first times Matt Austin agreed with me. He was the white hat on a lot of my games when I played at Vandy, and I told him I was getting hit late every play. Yeah. He never agreed with me.
I called some of those games. He called you a punk.
Yeah, might be right.
He went off. Good scouting report. First and goal for Iowa State. They get at least 3 tight ends in the game, maybe 4 out of I formation with Klotz the fullback.
It's beautiful.
Hanson, the tailback, straight ahead, submarines. He's in. Call this is straight smash mouth football.
Just a lot of extra filling in that formation, Tom, with the defensive linemen, a couple extra tight ends, a fullback. And this is where we thought Iowa State was going to be able to have the advantage against this Miami defense today, going right at them while getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah, 7 offensive linemen, or at least offensive lineman body types in there. As you see James Neal, 93 there, one of the extra guys they'll bring in.
James Neal going to be mad you called him an offensive line body type, by the way.
Well, you know, we're honest up here in the booth.
Conradi with the point after. They had 9 big fellas in that formation with the quarterback and running back, the other 2. Here's how we got down to the 1-yard line.
Yeah, it was a great route. Jalen Noel in the slot here working on true freshman safety Zaquan Patterson. He's just going to nod him on the inside, kind of like a glance route. Sells it with his head, too, but he's just so fast in and out of that break. Patterson never had a chance. Ball slightly underthrown, probably because Beck knew he was so wide open, just didn't want to overthrow him. Then there you see James Neal pulling Carson Hansen into the end zone there. This Iowa State team looks good. Even without their #1 wide receiver, Jaden Higgins. 4th most yards in the FBS, not playing today, so it's been the Jalen Noel and Rocco Beck party so far.
They've been a second-half team over the course of this season, but out of the gates like those Pop-Tarts flew out of the toaster and are open. Why didn't we rehearse? Little squib corralled at the 25. Cam Ward has led this team throughout the course of the season. He has already set the Division I passing record. How much longer do you expect Cam Ward to play in this game, or could we expect to see him all 4 quarters?
I mean, at this point, I expect to see him all 4 quarters, because no one would have batted an eye if he said, hey, I'm going to get ready for the NFL draft. Everyone could understand that, but if you're going to come out here and play a quarter, now you look up at that scoreboard, that competitive juice starts to flow. You're down 7. Your boys are with you for one last ride as you look around you.
Based on what we've heard about him, if this is a close game, I can't imagine he would even allow himself to come out.
21 career, 300-yard games for Ward. He's averaging 11 yards an attempt here early on. But the run game has been incredibly effective for Miami, and they stay ahead of schedule with a 4-yard run on first down.
You mentioned that leadership of Cam Ward when he came in. Keep in mind, it was a little bit later than some transfers would come in. I talked to Xavier Restrepo earlier this week, wide receiver not playing for the Hurricanes today. And I had heard a story, Tom, that when he came in, they were running some 7-on-7, some voluntary workouts, organized practices, and Cam Ward wasn't throwing the ball to Restrepo. Finally, Restrepo goes up to him and says, dude, what's the deal here? Like, get me the ball. Cam Ward said, hey, man, I've seen every rep from last year. I've seen every catch you made. I know you're good. I need to see what these other guys can do.
Back to the ground game. And they'll be short of the first down by just a yard, setting up 3rd and short. Here's what they're missing today. Restrepo with 1,100 yards, Horton 616, and Brown. Those are the 3 that are not at Cam Ward's disposal today. The greatest thing I heard, and he reiterated this to us, he said, I had a very simple rule with my wide receivers. You don't watch film, I'm not throwing you the ball.
Love it. A lot of guys are kind of scared to lead like that, though. To be black and white, to say it how you think it. But Cam Ward came in, really took over that leadership role.
Ward keeps it and picks up the first down. And that can be difficult, Cole. We talked to Mario Cristobal about it, that in-your-face leadership style when you've just shown up to campus.
It's not easy, especially when you don't know those guys. You can really turn a lot of guys off. In today's college football, they're just going to hit the portal and say, I'm not playing with this guy. I don't want to be around him. Mario said he's the best leader he's ever been around. I talked to Zach Carpenter about him as well, the center for Miami. He said he completely changed the face of our program. Cam is much more responsible for a lot of our success behind the scenes than people will ever realize.
Goes play action again. Fires, incomplete. That was a bullet aimed for Jacoby George.
Tom, going back to what Jordan said, Xavier Restrepo told me, he said, we were in the meetings every day, meeting rooms ourselves watching film at 5:30, because I asked Xavier, I said, I heard you guys had that sort of Mahomes, Travis Kelce thing where it's not a real route. It's not really known where you're going to be. And he said, yeah, absolutely, because we watch so much film together. He would just say, hey, you see the corner playing you here, break it down 2 yards early. That safety's not over the top, go ahead and get upfield. This is where I'm going to put the ball. This is where I'm going to throw it. Why he held those other receivers accountable, saying, get in here and watch film or you're not getting the ball.
Back to the running game. And this time Jordan Lyle picks up about 4. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter, it feels like. We got a shootout here in Orlando. 5 touchdowns in the first quarter combined. First ever meeting between Iowa State and Miami. Cam Ward and company trying to keep pace with the Cyclones. A return with more of the Pop-Tarts Bowl from Orlando, Florida, after this message and a word from our ABC station. Miami head coach Mario Cristobal.
Coach Cristobal, a little bit of a furious pace here early in this game. Do you want to try to slow it down, or are you good just kind of with a shootout?
Well, I'll tell you what, we don't want to slow down our offense. I know there's some ball control aspects that we might want to incorporate a little bit later on, but right now we got to catch up more than we got to slow it down.
I know you have some numbers down in the secondary. That's been a little bit of an issue for you. How can you help that grow out through the rest of the game?
Well, you got to mix it up. You know, the front four has got to get there. You know, they've got to do a really good job. Our front seven's got to get them in third and tough situations to help us be a little bit more successful on third down.
Thanks, Coach.
Canes looking at a third down on offense coming out of the break as we start the second quarter. Blitz. Ward escapes it. Steps up and delivers a first down catch made by Elijah Arroyo. It goes for 26 yards.
Well, you can see double A-gap blitz here. Both guys are going to come through, and this is why Cam Ward's so special. Ability to evade the defender, keeps his eyes downfield, and a dart right to Elijah Arroyo.
And now play action for Ward. Steps up, he's got all day, throws on the run to the end zone. Too many sprinkles on that one, incomplete.
You know, that last play probably really caught Cam Ward off guard, because Iowa State's got a tendency to show blitz and drop out, even drop 8 a lot of times on third and long especially. So kind of a break in tendency there from the defense and John Heacock. But again, that's what makes Cam Ward so special, his ability to extend plays, buy time, and still be extremely accurate downfield.
Also, Jordan, they had numbers. There's just a bust by the left guard. It's one of the things we love about this Miami offensive scheme and offensive line. They don't slide the protection very much. Cam probably thought, we got the guys and the bodies to pick this up.
2nd and 10 now for Miami. Not much going wrong on the offensive side. Ward 5 for 7 through the air. The ground game has been impactful, but they're immediately for a loss of 3. And we've got some drama on the Miami sideline while we're at break in between quarters. Not just pushing and shoving, but Marquise Lightfoot, number 12, says, forget about the shoving. I'm throwing. He took one, and then he tried to deliver a couple to Simeon Barrow, first team all-conference defensive lineman.
If there's a guy on that defense I don't want to swing at, it might be Simeon Barrow or Ruben Bain. I'm not throwing at 10, though. That's a big, athletic dude. But that's just some of the frustration, right? This offense from Miami's rolling, and the defense can't really stop anybody right now.
3rd and 13. Pressure again. Ward steps up, looking across the field. Beautiful catch made by JoJo Trader. And he's into the end zone. 40 yards. Ward on the run to Trader. Couple of third down conversions.
Well, it's almost that same look. Double A gap's going to come again. Rylan Barnes, number 41, is going to come right through. Watch the blitz pickup right here by Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225. Great block, great pickup. And again, Cam Ward buying time. Finding Trader, true freshman receiver that because all those guys out, getting a lot more opportunities today and made the most of it.
First touchdown of the career of JoJo Trader. Out of Chaminade Madonna in Hollywood, Florida. 5-star recruit, recruited by everybody. Cam Ward recruited by nobody. And they hook up to tie this game at 21 apiece. Ward on the run, and the Canes are surging. Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando, entertaining. Locked at 21.
Pop-Tarts Crunchy Poppers prove that even...
Coaching up the receivers over on the Miami sideline. Worked with Steve Walsh in '87 for the national championship, first undefeated season Miami's history. And Devin Hester knows how to get a party started, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's done it a few times.
Opening kickoff of the Super Bowl to the house.
Not many people can say that. I don't think anybody else can, actually.
You're one of one. Well, this great tradition at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, nothing like it in college football history. It all started last year. Dreams really do come true. Frosted strawberry into the toaster and then out of the toaster. And edible. Kansas State took advantage of it after they won the inaugural Pop-Tarts Bowl last year.
And this year, we don't know which one's going to go down in the toaster.
Now we've got 3 choices, and you can help vote for who you think should be given to the pastry gods. Beck pulls it back, delivers a sidearm strike to Eli Green. Well, dreams do come true, and Pop-Tarts come back to life. Frosted strawberry is here with us.
A little worse for the weather, but, you know.
Kansas State picked the frosted strawberry apart. It was a very emotional scene, but tissues for the living mascots. Eli Green, another catch. Never seen a Pop-Tarts cry before. By the way, we are informed by corporate spokespeople there's no such thing as a Pop-Tart. It is a Pop-Tarts, even if you hold only one. Unlike you, who's had 16 so far today.
No, I'm at 9. Thank you very much. And the cookies and cream one, very good. Last break.
Isn't this better than eating a bunch of roses? 2nd and 4. And no flag. And leave 3rd and 4 after the incompletion. So the winning team gets to pick the Pop-Tarts flavor that will get toasted. You can help decide. Grab your phone, scan that QR code, and then you're going to give given the choice: frosted wild berry, frosted hot fudge sundae, or frosted cinnamon roll. Unlike Jordan, not too long ago, had frosted tips.
Another great choice.
Another great choice. Lost to history. Carson Brown wide open. He grabs it for the first down at midfield. And the Iowa State drive stays alive.
Yeah, we talked about Rocco Beck's height. That's 6'1". He's got to find lanes and ways to be creative about getting his ball off. Watch him lean and throw this kind of sidearm to find that gap just inside big number 9 Tyler Barron right there, and just past the linebacker.
It's interesting talking to Rocco this week. We asked him about those arm angles and how he gets ready for that, and he immediately went to the core work that he does, strengthening those shoulder muscles, various lightweight work that he does before the game to make sure the arm is strong enough. They loaded up the backfield again. And nothing doing on that handoff. Miami gets in the backfield. And Kiko Maui Noah with his first tackle.
Well, this is one of those old school formations. You just got a couple fullbacks in here, and they're just going to go right down the pipe.
Sledge with no hammer.
Yeah,
Jordan, we were talking to the coach about that before the game.
10 on 10 there. And a close call on the drop.
It was really interesting. X-rated picture page.
You know, sometimes you get drawn and you got to hit the abort button real quick.
Yeah. Get me out of this. 2nd and 12. 5-man rush. O-line holds well. Down the sideline. Beautiful catch by Isaiah Austin. 4 seasons with Army and West Point. They didn't throw the ball much, and this is his first catch of the year.
Yeah, and they're without Jaden Higgins, they're 6'4" target. So Austin at 6'4", he's that big-bodied X-receiver on the outside, and that is a dime by Rocco Becht, right on the money in tight coverage from Deani Hill.
Miami uses the timeout. Iowa State looking to stay perfect on the offensive side. Already 3 touchdowns and Rocco Becht in good rhythm.
Yeah, Rocco's really on the money right here with this throw. And once again, Iowa State driving.
With the orange, and they would have been in great position to make it in the college football playoff. Iowa State was thinking the same thing as they played for a Big 12 title and run over by Arizona State in the process. Out of the backfield, Beck able to find Hansen, and he's into the end zone. Defense optional this afternoon, fellas. 13-yard strike.
Oh, just a great play design. Little misdirection, getting Rocco Becht on a little half roll once again. And this Iowa State team and Taylor Mauser are rolling.
It's 4 straight drives with a touchdown to start the game, going back to 2021 against Kansas, the last time they've done that in the last 20 seasons, and it's the 3rd touchdown of the game for Carson Hansen at a South High School in Lakeville, Minnesota. Iowa State back in front by a touchdown.
That's going to sneak Carson Hansen out of the backfield here. Little look to the left from Rocco Becht. Throws that backside linebacker that has Hansen in responsibility in coverage. And that's why it just looked like there was nobody there. Great play design and a great job selling it by Rocco Becht.
In Syracuse, Miami allowed Kyle McCord to throw for 380 and 3 touchdowns. There was 982 combined yards in that game. Since the end of the first quarter in that game at Syracuse, Miami has allowed 11 completed defensive possessions. They've allowed 9 touchdowns on those 11 possessions.
Yeah, that's not great. And we've kind of talked about the secondary for Miami. They didn't play great all year, but they're especially banged up now with a couple guys out, moving pieces around. And then remember, we did see a little bit of scuffle on the sideline. So there's some things going on and off the field right now for Miami on that defensive side of the ball.
Well, they've been able to translate that energy to the offensive side. Chance for a return from the 2-yard line. And a burst ahead for Jordan Lyle. Takes it out to the 29-yard line. Super Mario. Fire up the controls. First 2 seasons sub 500. And then the double-digit winning season this year. First since 2003 for the Miami native. They've been top 10 their last 2 recruiting classes. Then last year's class, number 10 in the portal, that included Cam Ward, looking for their first 11-win season since 03.
I thought we had a great conversation with Mario Cristobal yesterday. He said, look, I was sitting at Oregon, sitting in front of Phil Knight with unlimited NIL, but he said it just made me sick. And I knew I couldn't go to my grave without giving my best chance to bring Miami back to what we were when I was a player, what they were in the early 2000s, back to prominence. A lot of people question leaving Oregon and coming all the way to Miami. But he's got them knocking on the doorstep of national prominence just outside the college football playoff this year, and a lot of momentum going into next year.
But if you look at it with a critical eye, to have Cam Ward and this amazing offense, best in the country, and to come up short with a couple of conference losses, feels like a missed opportunity at best for Miami. And now you got to figure out what you're doing at the quarterback position going forward. Arroyo shuffled into motion. They need 2 yards to get that. The first down run by Martinez. And Martinez rumbles his way inside the 35. Gain of 31.
We mentioned Damian Martinez getting a little bit lighter earlier in the broadcast, and you'll see cat-like quickness here as he is going to elude multiple Iowa State defenders. And Aaron Feld, the strength coach for Miami, told me that when they had some conversations when he first arrived in Coral Gables, said, "You're one of those cat guys, aren't you?" And it really got Martinez's attention for different reasons, and said, "You're just a little bit quicker and faster than people think you are, or maybe that you looks like you are." Come to find out, Damian Martinez actually is a cat guy, but it has nothing to do with his reflexes or quickness. These are his two cats, his Maine Coons. And apparently the relationship is pretty tight. Dallas and Raven are the two cats. With them all the time. Cam Ward told us, went to the apartment. He said, "Man, I had no idea those things were that big." He said, "They're like dogs running around the house." He said, "They have a bond that is completely unbreakable." And Damian Martinez known as being one of the cat guys now in college football, fellas. I've never seen a Mancoon in person, but some of the photos that you can find, those things are monstrous.
Yeah, and the emoji usage. Meanwhile, for Iowa State, devastating injury right now, Bo Freeland. Their starting safety, making his 36th consecutive start. Came in just shy of 300 career tackles. Is having a hard time putting weight almost on either foot.
And this would be a brutal loss, not just from a structure and schematic standpoint, being that middle safety, one of the most important pieces, but he's really the heart and soul of this defense, heart and soul of this team, and a guy that is as tough as it comes, playing through a ton of injuries for most of his career. His shoulder's been all banged up.
Great visit with Bo this week, talking about the opportunity to ride out with his teammates. And he got caught in the crossfire. Finalist for the Campbell Trophy, the academic Heisman, the senior out of Colorado Springs, who came into his own in this stadium as a freshman against Clemson in the Cheez-It Bowl, his first opportunity. Cam Ward going deep, post route, it is gone. Touchdown, Miami. Elijah Arroyo for 33 yards.
Boy, and they're going to go right after Drew Surges right here. That's the spot that Freeler just vacated, that middle safety spot. They're in a cover two look. He's the middle guy that's got to run with that seam route down the middle, but Arroyo with 4.6 speed goes right by Surges on his first play in there for the injured Bo Freeler. That's a great job by Cam Ward and Shannon Dawson of going right after that vacancy down the middle of the field.
Shannon Dawson came up with the air raid system. He said it's more of a frame of mind. We want to attack, and we want to be aggressive. And Mario Cristobal told Cole the same thing when it was obvious it's going to be a shootout. Not going to slow down our offense. Well, neither is the Cyclone defense. 3 touchdowns through the air for Cam Ward. Given out to Bo Freeler, the senior safety, injured in that last Miami touchdown. His teammates showing their appreciation for what was a remarkable career for Freeler. He won't go out as one of the top tacklers in school history statistically, but from a leadership perspective, he's a fan favorite, gave his all to this program, and the captain headed back to the locker room with the medical training staff. This kick out through the back of the end zone.
Yeah, Miami's got to figure out how to slow down this Iowa State offense, and you heard Mario Cristobal mention it after the first quarter. They got to find a way to affect the quarterback. This front for Miami, who came in very well respected by this Iowa State team. They thought it was going to be an issue. They haven't been able to do much to make Rocco Becht uncomfortable.
He's thrown for 164 and 2 touchdowns. Iowa State averaging 9 yards per play at this point. Drop, that's one way to do it. Isaiah Austin couldn't bring that one in. These teams have combined to go 7 for 8 on 3rd down so far. They're just not leaving the field. Watson, Burkle, Ship. Alston in motion. Beck over the middle again, incomplete, and multiple flags. The back judge just launched his a good 35 yards. Great arm.
It's a cannon.
Well, I will say there's a nice little gust down here right now, Tom, going from your right to your left.
Oh, you think that was
been wind aided?
Yeah.
Pass interference. Defense, number 19. Ball replaced at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
There's Deontay Hill. Marshall transfer, grew up in Gainesville, Florida. Gets flagged.
Yeah, just working inside out there. Got crossed up and a little too much contact with Jalen Knoll. Deontay's a guy that's been moving around corner in the slot there because of all the musical chairs and injuries on the back end for Miami.
Fresh set of downs. Option look. Beck to Hansen. He's bottled up immediately. Gain of Kang's there to take him down. Akeem Mesidor, first man there.
Yeah, Mesidor, it's a really good job because he's inside at first, but redirects there to make the tackle. And that's a guy that's really come on the second half of the season as well. He was playing inside at D tackle when Ruben Bain was out and Tyler Barron was on the opposite side. Then Bain came back and Barron's play kind of slowed down a little bit. Mesidor bumped outside, now playing defensive end, and he's got 5.5 sacks out of that spot, playing really well on that boundary end spot.
On 2nd and 11. Beck looks downfield and finds a staff member. Leaves 3rd and 11.
Yeah, they were trying to get Abu Sama running back on a wheel route down the seam on the left side. Just great coverage on the back end across the board from Miami. Nowhere to go for Beck, and this is right where they want him. 3rd and long. Let's see if this defensive front can get some pressure on Rocco Beck for what might be the first time today. A little bit of confusion there now for Miami.
Yeah, Ahmad Moten was going to leave the game. Big 99 stays in. Left side of that D line. Beck signaling to his receivers. 5-man rush. Over the middle again, short of the marker on the catch by Jalen Knoll. And his forward progress stopped at the 41, but another flag comes in. Already one first down via penalty on this possession for Iowa State.
I don't think Cole's going to like this flag here.
Hadn't seen one that I did before.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 54, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
Top right of your screen, the center, Trot Hufford.
Yeah, you love when your guys do this. When your offensive linemen follow the ball and try to push guys forward, they're going to get Hufford for just picking off the Miami defender here with maybe a little too much gusto as he puts one on.
What is too much gusto?
Well,
hitting someone.
I mean, he just waylaid him, Cole. I'm going to be honest with you.
Come on.
Giving him the business.
I knew you weren't going to like it.
Iowa State team that very rarely gets penalized. And we'll see the punter, Tyler Perkins, for the first time. Junior from Norwalk, Ohio, gets it away cleanly. And the catch taken at the 40-yard line, and a rush to the end, and he's tripped up. 34-yard punt, 11 on the return.
Well, in case you've been with us since the start, that's called a punt. Haven't seen really any of those today. And a great little return there from Miami to get in plus territory. See if they can't break this tie.
So short field for Cam Ward and company. Opening drive, turned it over. Since then, 20 plays, 297 yards. Averaging 11.5 yards per carry and 13 yards per play. Ward all day. Here's Martinez, couldn't squeeze it.
Boy, they got beat down the middle last time, obviously with Bo Freeler, their middle safety out. Watch the defense this time. This offense for Miami's built on throwing the ball downfield. We just saw it last drive. Watch this guy run out of here and go, there's no way you're throwing it over my head this time. This is what makes this defense tough. They really want to play 3 safeties, 3 or 4 guys over the top, cap the defense, make you be patient and take those underneath throws. So it's a great decision there by Cam Ward of just checking that one down.
Shannon Dawson said he first got to look at this defense when he was coaching under Dana Holgorsen at West Virginia. They reinvented themselves in 2017. Ward just gets the play off. And immediately, JoJo Trader taken down. Leave third and a couple. You mentioned the great quarterbacks that the Big 12 had at the time. And talking with Haycock this week about how offenses have adjusted to it, he said now it's transformed to an area where one of the places we struggle is with running quarterbacks to try to fit those runs.
Actually, you only got those 3 defensive linemen, so it's easier to out-leverage with bigger surfaces or quarterback run when you can add an extra hat to one side. Makes it harder for that defense to adjust or roll late to those unbalanced formations.
Canes perfect on 3rd down this afternoon. Play clock is late again. It's at 1. They get it off. Pressure up the middle. Ward slides to his left. Now trying to run that way. And he steps out of bounds after picking up the 1st down. What a story. Cam Ward, basically unrecruited out of West Columbia, Texas, had one offer. That was to go the FCS route. And the wing T quarterback showing he still has those wing T feet by picking up the 1st down.
I mean, I'm not going to try to come at anybody's decision-making or coaching ability, but the fact that you only had him throw 12 times a game in high school?
I did ask him.
What are we doing?
Do you still keep up with your high school coach? It is simple no. Fires on the slant, incomplete. Numerous drops. That one belongs to George. But I thought it was interesting talking with Shannon Dawson, and he said, listen, the transfer portal is a gamble. We all know that. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. A bit of it is buyer beware. We hit on everything that we were hoping to get out of Cam Ward, and one of the assists in that regard was the fact that, all right, we take the guesswork out. The one constant is we know he can run this offense.
No doubt. Yeah, they ran a similar system, threw the ball all over the place at Washington State. The difference was it couldn't block for him, so he was scrambling all over the place, and that was one of the selling points to get him to come to Miami. We've got a good offensive line. You can sit in the pocket and make some of those NFL-type throws. I thought it was great. I talked to Shannon Dawson earlier in the year. One of those things that you often can't see on tape or predict is how a guy sees the field. How much does he know football? The very first practice that Cam Ward was ever at Miami, in the very first play of 11 on 11, he audibled to 4 verts out of a run play and threw a seam for a 60-yard touchdown. You don't do that. And Shannon goes, that was kind of the wow moment. This guy just knows football on another level, something you can't always see or don't always know when you're dipping into the transfer portal.
Canes 5 for 5 on 3rd down. Fletcher is the running back on 3rd down. Will flip to the opposite hip.
He's changing the play here. He's going to get man coverage.
Looking deep. Good coverage downfield. He is just standing there. And Fletcher gets spun around but stays on his feet. And he picks up the Miami 1st down. Ball came out at the end. It's scooped up by Iowa State. We'll see whether or not Fletcher was down. A flag at the tail end. But Tayshawn James ended up with a pigskin.
Yeah, Will McLaughlin. It's a great job of stripping that one late. I do think it's going to be a fumble. But that was a play there where Cam Ward thought it was going to be man coverage. I did as well. Iowa State disguised it really well, so he changed the play to try to take a shot play and one-on-one coverage to the slot. They roll into cover 3, into a zone coverage. It's not there. Ward checks it down, which is the right decision, but just a really good job by Iowa State and Will McLaughlin getting that ball out.
The result of the play is a fumble recovered by Iowa State. After the play, personal foul. Miami. 15-yard penalty. Adding a new one. First down.
So Cam Ward's going to check the ball down to Mark Fletcher. Fletcher trying to make something happen there on third downs near the sticks, and three guys standing Fletcher up, and McLaughlin, the linebacker, just rips the ball out. You see, I think Arroyo coming in late there is the one that got the flag. Just trying to get his hands on the ball. 23 right there, Iowa State. McLaughlin is the one that stripped it out, and the late hit here by Arroyo. I think he doesn't know if that ball's still alive. Yeah. I think he's just playing ball there. So
turnover had already occurred. Beck hands it off. Carson Hansen finds the edge. And a little stutter step before he goes out of bounds in Miami territory. That's a 22-yard run on first down.
Once again, one of these big surfaces, an extra lineman coming in. James Neal and a tight end just create a lot of bodies on that right side and out leveraged the Miami defense once again. Man, Carson Hansen's having a game.
Yeah, he is. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air.
Hope he likes Pop-Tarts, because he may have a chance to make a big decision at the end of this game. Which one's going to go in the toaster?
Beck with orange in his face throws it to the Iowa State sideline. Well, heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's a lot of pressure putting on the MVP of this game to pick which Pop-Tart you're going to sacrifice.
Yeah. Tell you what, I just had a cinnamon roll one in that last break.
Oh, what's your count?
Oh, I think we're at about 6 or 7.
Jordan convinced me to go cinnamon roll. It's definitely up into the top 3 now.
It is legit.
Little touch pass. And Aiden Flora forced out of bounds. Flora from Adel, Iowa. He's an all-state quarterback there. Lightly recruited. A couple of the academies wanted him. Army and Air Force Academy. His brother was a wrestler at Iowa State, so connections to Ames already. Not just the great drinking water. Third down 4. Knoll in motion. Back to Hansen, and no. Lack of focus on both sides in case of the dropsies. 4th and 4. Offense stays on the field.
Getting great coverage on the back end. Trying to find Hansen on a check down. Kind of in that no man's land here. About a 51-yard field goal, 52-yard field goal. They're going to roll the dice here on 4th and 4. And I like the call. I don't think field goals are going to do it in a game like this. It's 28-28 here in the first half.
No. Good crowd on hand in Orlando. They're on their feet before Iowa State takes a timeout to discuss.
Timeout. Iowa State, 30 seconds in length.
3:51 to go in the first half. Tied at 28. College football playoff continues with the quarterfinals on ESPN New Year's Eve. Penn State squares off against Boise State in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl at 7:30 Eastern. New Year's Day, Texas and Arizona State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl at 1 Eastern. Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential at 5 Eastern. And we cap the night with Notre Dame and Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl. We'll be there calling that game for ESPN Radio. How do you think Georgia handles a change at quarterback?
Well, yeah, with Carson Beck having surgery, his season's over. The Gunnar Stockton show, but he showed a lot of poise there against Texas in the SEC championship. That Notre Dame defense is good now.
Georgia's won all 3 in the series. 2 great games in 17 and 19. Home and home that were sellouts. Georgia took over Wrigley Field on their way to South Bend that year.
Miami, 30 seconds in length.
Those were great matchups and great for college football. Every game has just been decided by 7 points or less. That's Wednesday, 8:45 Eastern on ESPN. Cole, what was your takeaway from Notre Dame's opening round win against Indiana?
Number one, how good that defensive line was, which means Riley Mills not playing against Georgia is going to be a massive loss. Cross will still be in there, but they won't be the same. And then how good they were in man coverage. Adding safeties to the box late, not overloading the box against that Indiana offense, and just absolutely no space for Rourke to complete any passes whatsoever. That secondary really good for that Notre Dame defense. Probably doesn't get enough credit because they're a little dinged up early in the season.
What a day of college football we got for you coming up. And what a day it's been already today.
Jalen Knoll right here. Let's see if they move him before the snap here on 4th down. Expect the ball to go in his direction.
Tried to pass him off. Here he is. And a bump before the catch. And hauled in after a gain of 2. And the ball was tipped coming out of the hands of Rocco Beck. And a huge Miami stop on 4th down.
And probably kind of unfortunate that that ball was caught by Knoll, because I think the DB's a little early here. Watch the contact before, but kind of minimized by the fact that he caught it. If that ball's dropped there, I think that contact before maybe would have warranted a flag. Oh, the ball was tipped. That's right. So doesn't matter.
Well, Wesley Bassett got his hand on it.
I love the play design, though. I mean, Iowa State's had a ton of success kind of out leveraging, attacking the perimeter, but a great stop by this Miami defense when they needed it big time.
Cam Ward, 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. Damian Martinez on 1st down. Pickup of 6.
I tell you, Shannon Dawson continues to mix it up, Jordan. 22 personnel there. 2 backs, 2 tight ends on the field. So whether it's personnel, different formations, he told us they were going to add a couple of different runs. We've seen Dart a few times. They pull that backside tackle. Miami really trying to mix it up against a defense that they haven't seen before.
Ward gives it up. Then Mark Fletcher powers his way to the big Pop-Tarts at midfield. 1st down run for Miami.
Yeah, and this 2-back personnel group is something they started to do last couple games of the season. I love it against this Iowa State structure because the 3-3 stack of this defense, they're going to have to adjust pre-snap one direction or the other. And when you have 2 running backs, you can let them adjust and just change the play without even moving if you don't want to. Because you got 2 good running backs on either side.
You remember Iowa State playing without Bo Freeler, their senior free safety. Dump off to Martinez. They'll leave 2nd and 4.
And they can take this one down to the 2-minute timeout.
Well, Cam Ward, with his first touchdown pass of the game, eclipsed Case Keenum's all-time career passing touchdown record, and he still has more to prove. Iowa State 28, Miami 28. 2 minutes to go in the first half of the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando.
On the Kevin Nagandi here. We'll get you ready for Colorado BYU tonight, the last college football game for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Hey, there are over 24 Pop-Tart flavors. We already have 28 points from both teams.
No doubt. Well, cinnamon roll, first of all, is my favorite flavor. Whichever team can get the stop or turnover is going to wind up winning this game.
I want all the s'mores. Bring it here, Tom. All the s'mores and all the points.
Listen, I'm not trying to sell anybody, but Boog, we just had strawberry milkshake in the booth. It is life-changing.
I agree with Boog. I think cinnamon roll is still leader in the clubhouse for me.
Dead to me. 2nd and 4. And a punishing ground game for Miami from Mark Fletcher. Sets up 3rd and a very short one. Let Cam Ward take a shot here, 4-down territory, or you just pick up the 1st down and move on?
I think you've been moving the ball pretty well on the ground. I think if you're Shannon Dawson, you feel like this 1 yard you can pick up, especially with Markel Bell and Jalen Rivers on the left side. Wouldn't be surprised if they hand it off in that direction.
5 of 6 third down conversions for the U. Stutter step from behind the line, and still enough to pick up a couple and a Miami first down.
That's a really good job by Jordan Lyle, the true freshman. Boy, they love him, a 4-star running back. And Mario Cristobal even mentioned he's got a little bit of something like the Miami greats, little Willis McGahee in him. Little Edgerrin James. I mean, I'm not throwing those names out. Mario Cristobal did, so they love the upside of this young freshman running back.
Flipped from Ohio State before signing day. Ward lofts it downfield. It is nearly intercepted. Miles Purchase could have caught a fair catch on that one. Collided with Elijah Arroyo.
Boy, a rare time where Cam Ward gets fooled a little bit. They're going to be in deep zone coverage. Watch this corner at the top of your screen. It looks like he's going to keep running with this post, and so Cam lets that ball go here, but the corner does a great job of coming off late and almost coming up with a big play there.
34th career start for Purchase, a Denver native. Deep out route. That's good for a Miami first down. Shamar Kirk. First catch of the year.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned it yet, but Cam Ward is dicing up the #4 pass defense in the entire country. Without 3 of his top 4 wide receivers today, including the All-American Restrepo.
Another out route, this one to the near side, and that's JoJo Trader. And they're just matriculating the ball down the field. 34 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, 12 of 17, 189 yards and 3 touchdowns in this first half for Cam Ward. And when he gets soft zone coverage like this is back-to-back deep out routes. With his arm talent, a lot of defenses will give quarterbacks those long throws. Like, well, you're not going to make that throw every time. Well, with Cam's arm, that might as well be a 5-yard hitch. That 10 to 12-yard out throws those so well. That's going to force Iowa State to close the distance there on the outside.
Cyclones in less than 1/2 have already allowed more passing yards than their season average per game.
Iowa State, 30 seconds.
Final college game for Cam Ward, Davey O'Brien Award winner.
Yeah, he's been so sharp, started out with that first touchdown, little RPO. He's going to see this linebacker cheating in for the run. He's going to pull it, but there's not the window there directly. Linebacker's still there, so a little touch throw over the top, and then this is what makes him so special, the ability to evade the rush, keep his eyes downfield, and throw darts like that one to Arroyo, then back across his body to JoJo Trader, the true freshman, for the touchdown. And then another one deep over down the middle right after Bo Freeler, the starting safety, went out to Arroyo. He's been sharp, man. And again, nothing to prove in this game. This game didn't do anything for him. We sat down with Shannon Dawson. He said, look, the NFL guys are even telling him, you don't need to play.
Shannon's really interesting.
Shannon's like, well, I wish they wouldn't have said that. I want him to play.
What does it say about the young man that he's playing in this?
Just his competitive makeup. And I guess that's going to tell NFL GMs a lot as well. That he wants to come out here with his guys, without his best receivers on the outside, and still play at a high level against one of the best pass defenses in the country.
On the ground, Jordan Lyle. And a timeout taken. So Miami stops the clock with 28 seconds left in the half.
Third and final timeout. Miami, 30 seconds in length.
Kick off your Week 17 NFL Sunday with the Countdown Crew. Marty Smith sits down with Commanders rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. You can go all access with the Vikings to learn how they plan the best celebrations in the league. And Adam Schefter with all the injury updates and early breaking stories. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And Monday Night Football features Iowa State's Brock Purdy to Lions and 49ers. Playoff implications for Jared Goff and the 13-2 Lions. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific with Joe and Troy. Here's your QB comparison. Guys who have spent plenty of time at different schools and different programs and offenses. seem to be producing early on in their NFL career.
Guys that have played a lot of football, played football in multiple systems, seem to be translating well at the next level and picking things up fast and executing at a high level. Well, Jaden and Bo Nix playing well in their first year.
10th play of the drive from Miami. To the back corner. Incomplete, trying to find Arroyo. The longest drive for either team today. This will be the 11th play of this possession for Miami.
Yeah, and this is where they really miss Xavier Restrepo. You mentioned kind of the relationship that him and Cam Ward had, where he'll just kind of find the open space, not necessarily stick to what the route or the play design calls for down here in the red zone. That relationship made them special. I'd expect Arroyo or Jacoby George here on the outside. You see George right there to get a look here, or maybe a little glance route. The back of the end zone.
Cam Ward talking to the defense as he takes the snap. Fires back end zone, incomplete.
Little glance route in the back of the end zone. I mean, that's one that George runs so well. Cam throws so well, but just little traffic there. For Arroyo, I think it was kind of clouded up the hole. No, it's actually Ray Joseph trying to get off. See, it got right in the window that Cam wants to squeeze that ball into to Jacoby George. Joseph, a guy that playing a lot of ball here tonight, hasn't played a ton this year. He's got an inside release or fight to get out of that window to open things up for George on the outside.
So a 30-yard attempt for Borregales, who's only missed once all year. And he punches it through. Miami, the lead towards the end of the second quarter. Capping a 12-play, 55-yard drive. Hurricanes lead 31-28. We'll be back in 10 seconds after a message from Ally.
Looking at season tickets to support your team next year? You can save for them with Ally, the bank that's your ally. Back to you.
Pop-Tarts Bowl from Orlando at Camping World Stadium, and offensive explosion for both sides in the first half. Miami leaning on their ground game for 168 yards. Damian Martinez ripped off a 75-yard touchdown run to start their second possession. .4 yards per play for Miami here in the first half. No return. Rocco Beck, 14 of 22 in this game for 180 and 2 touchdowns. Beck and Iowa State got off to a horrendous start in the Big 12 championship game. They turned it over on each of their first 3 possessions. Arizona State cashed in on all 3 of those takeaways. Scored 21 points in the first quarter. And Beck will take a knee. Iowa State looking for its first ever 11-win season, but they find themselves trailing as they head to the locker room. Both teams came into this week saying that they had unfinished business after they were so close to the college football playoff in successful seasons. Let's go down the field with Mario Cristobal. Here's Coach Hubler.
Coach, Cam Ward been outstanding in this first half. I know America might be surprised with a lot of things that they're seeing from him. You're not. Have you learned anything about your quarterback with what he's done this afternoon?
I think we learn something about him every time we step on the field. I mean, he's the best player in the country, and it's not just because of his talents, because of what he's made of, his DNA.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
31-28, Miami with the lead over Iowa State. That's our score at the break. We'll get you to the studio in just a moment after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Company have taken care of business. Beck is thrown for a couple, has showed great poise in the pocket. Neither quarterback has been sacked so far in this game. And that has allowed both offenses to put up monster numbers. First half stats are brought to you by Chewy. And the numbers certainly indicate that neither team has been thrown off the mark offensively. Beck has thrown for $180 and 2. Ward has thrown for $190 and 3, and that's where we stand. Welcome back. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik in uniform down on the field. We'll get to him in just one moment. But your thoughts on the offense so far in the first half of this one?
Yeah, nobody's been able to come up with a stop. I think what's most impressive about both these quarterbacks' performances, they're doing it without their best receivers. Jaden Higgins out for Iowa State. Xavier Restrepo out for Miami. A couple other guys out for Miami. So they're playing at a really high level without their go-to guys here in a bowl game.
Just because a Pop-Tart isn't frosted doesn't mean it can't still be tasty.
Or it can't be a pocket square.
Interesting challenge. So we get set for the second half. You have a Pop-Tart as a pocket square, and I didn't even notice.
Looks pretty good.
It looks really good. What flavor matching?
I think this is cookies and cream. It kind of matched the some's left over in the pocket.
Somebody go back and clip that, please. Freeze it, circle it, spot shadow it. It was hard to see exactly how you were dressed. Not hard to see the same with our lovable Pop-Tart, Cole Kublik.
I just talked to Matt Campbell, Iowa State head coach, not in this when I spoke to him, by the way, about how they've lined up and gone to out-leverage this Miami defense by using bigger personnel. You see the double team right here is going to come on the defensive tackle. You're going to get a slant down inside with a nice replacement defender, but that double team movement is what allows Iowa State to still pick up yards on the ground.
Well, I will pay you your game rate if you wear that through the airport tonight.
Okay.
Were you chewing a Pop-Tart during that?
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Beck's laser is a little too far for Jalen Knoll.
It's off the rails. The second half just started.
That is the most perfect call. The only thing that would make him look better is if he was wrapped in tinfoil.
I think they could probably arrange that. I think the mascots had some earlier down there. Cole, why don't you try to jump in the toaster at the end, you know?
2nd and 10 for Rocco Beck.
Don't challenge me.
Three-man rush. Beck forced from the pocket. On the run, trying to direct traffic and get shoved out of bounds. Had a great chat with Rocco this week. Italian heritage, that's where the name Rocco comes from. He said, however, something most people don't know is my father, Anthony Beck, longtime NFL tight end, wanted to name me Blaze. Said, I think Rocco was the better choice in the end. Just enough, but Blaze isn't a great fit.
Could have been on Team Globo, Jim, though.
Yes.
With that name.
It could have been.
Blaze, laser, taser.
We are leaning into everything. And as he throws, it's incomplete. No flag on the coverage of Gabe Burkle up the sideline. There's a flag. Came flying in after the play. Jaden Harris was following Burkle back towards the line.
Sideline warning against the Miami team. 4th down.
Yeah, it was a really good job by Ruben Bain, the defensive end for Miami, on kind of an inside stunt. And really for the first time seeing some real pressure on one of these quarterbacks in the pocket. I guess Cam Ward evaded the pressure a couple times in the first half, but pressure there caused that throw.
Miami number 5 is now number 35.
To be early and high.
Ray Joseph back to receive this punt. Low one. And he asked for a fair catch after the hop. Takes it to the 29-yard line after a 42-yard punt. You don't want to have an empty possession, but Miami's going to change quarterbacks. Cam Ward, helmet off. Looks like he'll stay on the sideline. And we see Emory Williams, sophomore from Milton, Florida, known for who they produced on the golf course, guys like Boo Weekley and Bubba Watson. Williams lightly recruited coming out of Milton High School. Miami saw him in a camp and was wowed. They love his presence. And he hands it off on the first play, and a dance from Damian Martinez, who picks up 5. What can we expect from Emory Williams, a quarterback?
Well, in talking to Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, he said he's one of the best pure passers he's been around. So a lot of pure talent in that right arm. He played in one game this year against Ball State, but he's been in big moments. Played against Clemson last year. Florida State down the stretch started that game as well. So one score game in the fourth quarter against a healthy, undefeated Jordan Travis-led Florida State. So
it'll be a first down run for Martinez.
Yeah, he's been in big moments, and I'm a little surprised that Cam came out, right? I mean, again, we never would have blamed him for not playing at all, but the competitive juices were flowing. I think he probably stayed in longer than he even anticipated, but in the end, it's the right move for Cam. You're healthy, 3 touchdowns in the first half. You have nothing left to prove, and that even small chance of getting hurt and ruining being a top 5 pick, I think in the back of his mind, it's the right decision for him. And it's going to give Emory Williams a chance to showcase what he can do here in the second half.
Yeah, time to turn the clock forward for Miami, and a sprint out on the completion to the edge, and Ray Joseph.
Back to Emory Williams, guys. I talked to Mario Cristobal about him a little bit before the game, and he said diligent, detailed. He's a guy that you'll look back while Cam Ward was getting those first-team reps, and he's sort of mirroring Cam Ward with some of the play-action stuff. You'll see him acting like he's doing the ball fake or going through the footwork process, staying after practice with Cam Ward to walk through different drops, talk about different routes. One of the most detailed quarterbacks he says he's been around.
Well, that was honed in his house growing up in Milton, Florida. He's one of 7 boys in the family. They would play indoor football regularly. There's a carry for a first down by Damian Martinez. And they said no Nerf footballs. Everything's got to be exact. So when we're throwing the football around the living room, when you're running a curl to the cat scratch tower or a post past the, I don't know, the lamp, it's got to be a real football. It's dangerous, but that's how they got those details now.
I'm sure their mom loved that.
They didn't have any Mancoons on that cat scratch tower.
No. Make good for free safeties, though, probably. He was very lightly recruited. He didn't play in the 7-on-7 summer leagues. And so his recruiting ranking really high. Here's Damian Martinez again. And Martinez moves the entire pile. It's a first down on a punishing run by Martinez and those 5 fellas up front.
Boy, what a game Martinez is having. I just keep going back to the Louisville game that I called earlier this year. He just looks like a different back the second half of this season. More burst and still the physicality there to finish runs with that 230-pound frame. 162 yards already here. We're just getting the second half going.
You're averaging 15 yards a touch. That'll get the job done. Helped when he took his first touch for 75 yards. Why not? Go right back to him. This is Mark Fletcher this time. Miami ground game came in 45th in the country, averaging 179 yards a game. They're already over 200 in this game.
Iowa State just struggling down the stretch with all the injuries they've had at linebacker all year. They've been so thin on that second level. You saw that kind of come to a head in the Big 12 championship where Scadaboo ran all over him, breaking tackles and on his way to a big game, and Miami's exploiting.
Fletcher finds the edge, stays in bounds, and he takes it inside the 10. Mark Fletcher with a 20-yard run.
Boy, really good block by true freshman JoJo Trader on the outside. You see him right there, 0. Driving the cornerback who has contained. That cornerback got to be able to set the edge and turn the running back inside, back towards his linebackers. But Trader's able to get on his outside, push him inside, and allow Fletcher to get the edge. That's been a common theme, just not being able to set edges tonight for Iowa State.
On heavy with Emory Williams taking the snaps. Fletcher, you went back and watched that Big 12 championship game and broke down the film. Did you feel like Iowa State, despite Scadaboo's big performance, was in position?
I think they were in position a lot. Yes, they just missed. A lot of times, because of this structure, safeties have to come down to the second level, even sometimes to the line of scrimmage, and fill holes and have responsibility and gaps in the run game. A lot of times the safety was there, and Scadaboo just made a miss or broke through a tackle. So it wasn't as much being out of place as much it was just bringing guys down. But tonight, just not setting edges and actually being out of place more often than we saw in the Big 12 championship.
On second and goal, Fletcher down to the 1. Marcus Neal came up for the stop for Iowa State.
Boy, run game's nice for a young quarterback coming in that hasn't played a ton of football. Just hand that ball off and chip your way all the way downfield.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. They run it 8 times. Williams with an 8-yard completion on the 1 pass. Fletcher is his back. Eight touchdowns on the season for Mark Fletcher. Play clock at 2. And Fletcher leaps into the end zone for another Miami score. Cam Ward loves it. Miami, its largest lead of the game.
That big offensive line for Miami's really starting to lean on this Iowa State front, especially that right guard Inez Cooper with a big block here, Uncle.
Well, he's not as big as he used to be. Showed up on campus at 4'10". He's down to about 330. Look at him get low on the linebacker there and just drive him out of that hole.
Hey, he thought about picking him up there, it looked like.
He weighed what?
4'10" when he came to campus.
10 plays, 71-yard drive. Couple of sustained drives for Miami. Emory Williams leading the charge this time. And the sophomore comes off the bench and let the running backs do all the work. Mark Fletcher cashes in to the delight of Cam Ward.
TLC and more.
Now there's a reason to celebrate.
Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve live on ABC.
You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kilblick. And this is the kind of action we're seeing at the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Cole, what's your sideline report on the talent of the Pop-Tart mascots, one of whom will get toasted at the end of this game?
Wild Berry's acting like he deserves it. Caught a ball off of the field goal net, ran away from the ball boys, attempted to punt it into the stands, didn't make it. That was a little bit of a worm burner. Also harassing a couple of the officials down back in the end zone. Definitely having a good time.
And what do you expect from somebody named Wild Berry? And if there's any question, their names are on the back of their jerseys, like Notre Dame in the postseason. 8:09 to go, third quarter. Rocco Beck and Iowa State. Cole touched on when he took over this program 2 years ago. He was really thrown into the fire, and he said, I learned a lot that first year, but now the maturation of him, a year in the program, full season winningest in school history, 10 wins for the first time ever, and the knowledge as a coach's son and all that hard work that he puts in to be able to really take control and drive this offense is something that stands out. They get bigger here. They run the ball on first down. Carson Hansen steps through a tackler, takes it to midfield. It is a 28-yard rip for Carson Hansen.
We saw Cole dressed as a Pop-Tart telling you this after half, but look at all these bodies over here, a big surface, and they're just going to wash this defensive line down. Create a big hole, pull a guy from the backside, and Carson Hansen out the gate.
So guy Steve-O Klotz right there, Jordan.
Oh, Klotz is an animal. Love him. Former walk-on linebacker, number 49, plays some tight end. But I love how much Taylor Mauser's bringing those big bodies in, creating big surfaces and getting the run game going.
Toss this time to Hansen. Just back to the line of scrimmage.
How about how offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser described Steve-O Klotz to us, number 49, this fullback tight end hybrid. for Iowa State said, he's handsome, he's tall, he's physical, he's an absolute stallion.
Stallion. How many people have called you a stallion in your days, Tom?
That I paid or didn't pay? Second 10.
We usually get the other donkey nicknames.
Yeah, that's right. Back drilled as he lets it go, and it's just off the fingertips of Jalen Knoll. But Beck is a tough dude. That one drew a flag. He talked his way back into the Big 12 game, the championship game, after getting smoked.
Yeah, watch Simeon Barrow here is going to work an inside move on right guard Brendan Black. That was the one spot that Mouser said he was a little concerned about, the right guard position. Barrow with the pressure on Beck there, but that was as good of a ball as you could throw. I mean, that was on the money for having a big dude right in your face. Jalen Knoll usually comes down with those.
Matt Austin, what'd you see on the flag?
Well, the rusher came in. I don't think it was the timing was so bad, but he came in with his arm right around the quarterback's head. And as I know Jordan would tell you, quarterbacks don't like that.
I hit Jordan in the head every game. Here's pass to the tight end. Gabe Burkle hauls it in. And what a game he's having.
Boy, one of the best things this offense has done today is get Rocco Beck outside the pocket. Some of these little half rolls, getting him on the run. He's so accurate while moving. And Burkle has been the go-to guy, again, with Jaden Higgins, their #1 wide receiver out. The biggest body they got out there is big 6'6" Burkle.
Miami all over this run. And Hansen still able to make a little bit of damage. Mish Powell, the fifth-year senior from Seattle, transferred in from Washington in on the stop. That was a lot of work for Hansen just to get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. Hansen's averaging 7.4 yards per carry. He scored twice on the ground, once through the air. Beck nearly got picked off. Wow, just threaded the needle to Steve O'Klotz. Maui Noah almost hauled it in. It turns into a loss of 4, but could have been worse.
Boy, Francisco Maui Noah was all over this one. Again, getting Beck outside the pocket, trying to slip Klatz into the flats. And Maui Noah, like you mentioned, almost ripped that one away. Now, big third down here for Miami. See if they can keep this a one-score game, force a field goal.
Cyclones looking at a 3rd and 14. They failed on the last 3 third downs. Complete, spun around, and a first down for Isaiah Austin, but he stopped short of the goal line. Now they say 4th down. They say didn't get it.
Boy, just a ton of space at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they gave Isaiah Austin 10, 11 yards there.
4th and less than a yard. Iowa State's offense is going to stay on the field.
This is where they're going to bring the extra bodies in. They're going to have 7 offensive lineman body types in there. Is this where Mouser kind of switches things up, goes a little play action out of this big heavy set? It's been all run so far tonight for Iowa State with all these offensive linemen and tight ends.
Yep. Miami had 12. They had to take that time out there.
I'd try to put 12 out there, too, with all those big bodies.
Well, the Iowa State coaching staff was down talking to the line judge, making sure that was the perfect spot. 4th and short coming up. Draft picks, Iowa State with 2 first-round draft picks. They're averaging 4 wins a season until Matt Campbell took over, but compare the cultures as well, right? Ames, you get 66,000. Miami, $6 million. That's pretty little different. Stark difference. Average price to own a home different. Now, we do know Ames has the best tap water in at least all of Iowa. I've watched the videos and everything. And Miami's got, DJs at the pools and size roofs. May have a pool table. It's been a while since I've been there.
Are we going to explain the tap water thing at some point during this broadcast?
I think people can Google that, and they can find it on their own. 4th and 1, I formation for Iowa State. Rocco Beck under center. He's going to take it himself. And the extra shove gets him all the way in the end zone. Steve-O Klotz was the trailer to Beck's truck and pushed him right in.
Oh, it's a great job by Rocco Beck to finding the sweet spot. Miami's going to stack someone on the center and on the guard, on the center, on the guard. So he's going to find this sweet spot right in the B gap, right between the B gap and C gap, right off the left tackle, Jalen Travis. Great push and a really good read there. Normally you don't say it's a great read on a quarterback sneak. Normally you just kind of put your head down and you just try to move forward. But a good job finding that soft spot. And actually, the linemen there really condensed their splits as well.
Yeah, there almost were no splits on that one.
Yeah, they were foot to foot. Let's check this and see if he did, in fact, get in. Oh, that right calf maybe comes down a little bit.
Do you have it as a first down where
I mean, I think
his calf was down?
Yeah, he's got to get to at least the 1, right, for a first down. I think he's well inside that. Watch this right leg. Yeah, I think it pops down right there. It's going to be really tough to see from the side through all that traffic exactly where the ball was. Great job by Beck to continue to drive. You see they got the ball spotted right just past the 1-yard line.
It is indeed a first down, but no touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. It's a good job by replay review there. Piecing those angles together. I think they end up putting the ball where it should be. Do you just go back and do it again?
Sure, why not?
7 offensive linemen back in the game. I think I just see if you can't sneak it one more time. Oh, double I formation.
Hansen is the tailback. Beck gets another shove from Klotz. Short. And that'll set up 2nd and goal from inside the 1.
I mean, surely if you did it 2 or 3 more times, you're eventually going to get it, right?
Great job by Simeon Barrow to come over the top and offer the first resistance.
He's quietly had a really good game. Really the only guy up front for Miami affecting the quarterback, and really strong there on that QB sneak attempt.
Same personnel.
They're going to have 2 tight ends to the left of the quarterback here in a unique formation. See if they pitch it out that way.
There it is to Hansen. Gets tripped up. Fantastic play. Kiko Maui-Noa.
Boy, watch Maui-Noa just shoot through the B gap right here. He's going to shoot through here. Both tight ends are going to be looking for a wider block, and he goes right inside of Steve-O Klotz and makes a huge play. Backs him up to the 4-yard line. Now that really changes the play call. I feel like you got to throw it here with Beck. Keep an eye on Jalen Knoll. A lot of times they like to bring him across the formation here, try to leak him into the flats.
Back to Knoll, little low. Roll to catch and a touchdown for Iowa State.
Absolutely love the play call. Just said they love to motion him and leak him into the flats. This time he goes into the flats and runs a little return, a little angle back inside. It's a great ball by Beck. Low protects him from the defender inside. I think that's a great snag by Jalen Knoll.
I feel like that route is so hard to defend.
Oh, it's impossible, because how many times have we seen him motion and just try to get the quick throw at the corner pylon, the front pylon. Instead reverses, and great timing, great accurate throw there from Rocco Beck.
Cal Conradi out of Dubuque, Iowa, Dubuque High School. Drills the point after. We've got a 3-point game, 2:20 to go in the third quarter. Rocco Beck to Jalen Knoll. And Iowa State back on track. And on entire childhood, it first started in Pee Wee. He'd lay out their uniforms like he used to until now. And he thinks Travis Hunter and his son Shedeur Sanders. He said Hunter would probably get emotional before anybody else. But if you don't love college football and you just want to see the next level guys, this is still a great day for you. Whether it be Cam Ward, set the Division I passing record today, or Shedeur Sanders, or Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner. Plenty of guys are going to get a chance to have an impact on the next level.
Yeah, you might not see one like Travis Hunter for a long time. That talented on both sides of the football. Obviously why he won the Heisman Trophy. And you better believe Shedeur Sanders saw Cam Ward play today, saw the numbers he put up in the first half, and went, okay, now I got to ball out here. Because both those guys are going to be considered for that #1 overall pick. Might just be the New York Giants sitting there trying to decide who the quarterback of their future is.
Cole, you're an NFL GM. Which way do you go?
It's a tough call. I think Cam Ward gives you a little bit more upside. And obviously, a lot of folks are in love with the Patrick Mahomes moving around, arm angles, ad-lib stuff. But I do think Shedeur's a little more polished right now. I think he's probably the safer bet long term. But I don't think you can go wrong with either guy.
Why would I listen to you? You were wearing a Pop-Tarts costume earlier.
100% fair. I've also had 9 today, so.
Instantly, you lose all your credibility unless it has to do with just offensive line when you're dressed like a Pop-Tart. Pop-Tarts.
Are you credible talking offensive line wearing a Pop-Tart costume, though?
Come on.
Yeah, anything in the pastry family is fair game, I believe.
Absolutely.
2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Sophomore quarterback Emory Williams took over last year after Tyler Van Dyke went out with an injury. Week 8 against Clemson, threw for 151, a touchdown and a score against the top 10 Tigers team. Won that game in double overtime. Pulls it back, wants to throw. And it gets batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he really was looking downfield to tight end Elijah Arroyo on the seam route, but he got held up. You see him looking downfield. Arroyo not ready, so tries to come to the comeback, and great job up front. I think it was Dominic Orange getting his hand up and batting that one down.
Big Citrus making a play. 6'4", 325. Sensational nickname. Really works here in the state of Florida. The guy grew up in Kansas City. It can make sense. 3rd down 6. Pressure coming up the middle. And incomplete. Wide receiver stumbled coming out of his turn. That was Carr. And Miami will be forced to punt it away.
Yeah, Carr is going to work up. He's going to kind of initiate this contact with the DB there, Tayshaun James. I'd love to see him break down a step or two before and then turn out of that. Probably would have been open.
First punt won't be a punt. Miami fakes it, and they rumble to a first down and more. Elijah Lofton takes a snap, and 28 yards later gets taken down.
Boy, great job doing a little sugar huddle, so lining up to the ball late. Watch the center long snapper. He's angled in that direction. He's going to direct snap it. He's not even facing the punter. He's going to direct snap it right to Lofton. But these coaches talk about one of the best athletes on the field. I mean, they'd line him at running back at times if they could. They weren't so stacked to that position. So talented as a true freshman at 6'3", 230. Plays a lot of special teams as well, so not strange to see him out there, but great little design for the fake punt.
And the Miami punter, Dylan Joyce, still hasn't touched the ball yet today. Jordan Lyle. Pocket pup. Pile still moving. And ends up being a 9-yard gain.
Boy, and Inez Cooper, right guard, just drug against Jordan Lyle for about 4 or 5 more yards at the end of that one. He was hyped.
It's going to bring it in to the third quarter. Finally, the defense is stepping up. Only 20 combined points in this quarter after 35 in the first. Tight one as we head to the fourth quarter. We return with more of the Pop-Tarts Bowl after this message and a word from our ABC.
Our forecasts. Plan ahead with Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
And stay with the bigger personnel. How is it important for you to continue to do that for one more quarter?
Yeah, I think it's really critical for us. We've got to have great balance here. We've got to keep taking care of the football, and we got to execute in critical situations.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks so much.
Both of these teams are used to playing in close games. They each have great comebacks on their resume this season. Damian Martinez rips off a first down run. And Iowa State 4-1 in one-score games this year.
Hey, can I throw these in there?
Meanwhile, Miami's lost its last 2 one-score games. Emory Williams took over for Cam Ward. And they've really been limited just the ground game since he's been in, but that has paid off in spades. Damian Martinez, another physical run.
And so many of those one-score games for Miami, too, are them trying to come from behind, having to throw the football a ton, and Cam Ward trying to put everybody on his shoulders. They're running the football so well right now. As that's not something you want to see, though. Damian Martinez having a monster game, 179 yards tonight. A little banged up walking off the field.
They'll be tended to by the athletic training staff. It looks like we're going to get an injury timeout.
The play was stopped for an injury player on Miami.
I believe second and 3. Second highest scoring bowl in Iowa State history. They scored 37 against Pitt in the 2000 Insight.com Bowl. Iowa State leads the nation in close wins. They've got 3 wins by 3 points or less. Tied with UCF and Utah. Fletcher to the logo and a first down again.
This is where with a younger quarterback, inexperienced quarterback in there, you want to be talking to him about, hey, take that play clock down as far as you can. Run the football really well right now. Want to start milking this clock. Put some more points up on the board, but take as much time off as well as possible.
And the way they've been using the clock, you heard Mario Cristobal say that to Cole early in this game. There may be time to manage a clock later, specifically with Emory Williams at quarterback. I wonder how many possessions Iowa State would have left. Fletcher again. Mark Fletcher bursts through. That's a first down run for the Canes.
Boy, running right behind the left side of that offensive line, which is Markel Bell and Jalen Rivers. They'll alternate those guys at left tackle. When Markel is in, Jalen Rivers will bump down to guard. Two of their best offensive linemen on that side.
I can't get over Markel Bell.
He's a monster.
Field size, Jordan. I mean, it's like you're watching an NBA center play tackle.
6'9", 340, and he's 340 might be a little low.
Might be. And my mistake, they marked him short of the first down, so second, less than 1. It was academic. The mouthpieces on the ground. We get big offensive linemen. Need help up.
And not that you need to, but I think we're going to see just how much Shannon Dawson trusts Emory Williams here. Little play action you feel like would get somebody wide open with how well they're running the football, but just throwing the ball 3 times so far with Emory Williams, 1 for 3.
Now they got Jordan Lyle in on first and goal. This is already the 3rd highest scoring bowl game in Miami history. 11th play of this drive. Lyle folded in half at the 3-yard line. Second and goal.
And once again, right behind Markel Bell. They are loving running to the left side of that offensive line right now.
But why stop, right? They're over 500 yards of total offense in the second half. Miami has run 21 plays. 18 of them have been run plays. Wild Barry getting wild.
Tried to tell you, Tom.
Offense a little bit more reserved. Wild Barry cannot be trusted. Play action to the end zone. It is tipped and incomplete. Shamar Kirk, the intended receiver.
And there's that play action, trying to get Arroyo going down the middle of the field. Going to be Tayshaun James in coverage right here. They're going to try to get Arroyo down the middle. James great in coverage. You see Wild Barry there trying to go get that ball.
Dominic Orange and Inez Cooper. Big fellas talking trash after that last play. 3rd and goal for Emory Williams in Miami. Here's Lyle again. Bobbled up. Taken down. Miami looking at a 4th down now with 10:25 and rolling.
Well, they're going to keep the offense out there.
Nope. Changed their mind. Mario Cristobal says it's take the points. This was been an issue in a couple of games so far this season for Miami. Trying to decide when to roll the dice and when to take the points. Margalis, as consistent as any kicker in the game, from 21. He's already made from 30. So it's a 1-possession game in the 4th quarter with 9:40 remaining. Mario Cristobal and Miami clinging to a 6-point lead. Back to Orlando and Hot Fudge Sunday after this. Trophy in the house today. Camping World Stadium. American 4-1, 3 games remaining. Pac-12 force them out.
Pac-2.
ACC just 1-7 out of the playoff after having 2 teams in. Still 5 games remaining.
I like the challenge and all, but I feel like you do kind of have to put these bowl games in a little bit of a different category.
No, just no. Put them all on the same tote board.
Yeah, but you got some teams with 4 or 5 guys opting out, some with 20. I mean, it's just...
History is written by the winners, Jordan. That's what you can write about the fact that you had a Pop-Tart as a pocket square today.
I'm proud of that fashion choice, actually. I don't have it anymore because I ate it.
Edible new revenue stream for our friends at Pop-Tarts. Coming up at 9:15 Eastern, we'll cap off our ESPN Bowl quadruple header. Louisiana Tech taking on number 22 Army in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Shreveport always beautiful in the holidays. And then Monday afternoon, the Trans-Perfect Music City Bowl in Nashville. It's the Big Ten versus the SEC, Iowa, and number 19 Missouri. Coverage begins 2:30 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the app. Rocco Beck going to work. Down 6. The Cyclones hand it off to Carson Hansen.
And they got to find a way to generate some explosive plays through the air. Obviously, when Cole talked to head coach Matt Campbell after the 3rd quarter, he mentioned you got to keep getting in big personnel, be able to keep running the football. But at some point, you got to play action off that and try to take some shots downfield. Had a couple early on, one to Knoll, one to Alston. But haven't had the big chunk plays through the air here in the second half, and they got to get back to it.
Only 20 yards in the air since halftime. We'll play action look. Looking for a chunk play. Flicks it downfield and incomplete. Back Becked again ended up on his backside. Alston was his intended receiver.
Yeah, that's been part of the story of why they haven't been able to get those chunk plays. Beck's been under a ton of pressure, getting pressure really from both sides. Ruben Bain on one side, Malik Bryant on the other. Bryant's the one that got the hit on Becht. If he has just a split second more to deliver that ball, he's got a guy crossing the field with a step. Credit this Miami defensive front. They've played much better in this second half.
Iowa State only 4 of 9 on third downs now. They're starting 3 for 4. 5-man rush. Back pressured again. And he doesn't go down. Beck stays on his feet. And finally gets hogtied in the open field. A courageous run to escape the pressure from Miami up front. But it leaves the Cyclones with 4th down.
Yeah, it was Ruben Bain coming off that right side, working on Tyler Miller, the right tackle, beat him clean. But Becht was able to escape, make some magic happen. But
Miami's 5 is down number 35.
not enough to pick up the first down.
First sack of the game for either side.
That's crazy.
Ray Joseph back to receive this one. Not a good punt. And Jones takes it to the 37. You never know what you're going to see when mascots take center stage, and that includes what some will perceive as mascot on mascot crime. You can't sit back letting their, I don't know, emotions be known early. Sam Levitt talking trash?
Yes, and he's going to prove who the better quarterback is going up against Quinn Ewers in the playoff game. I love it, though. I mean, Arizona State, nobody thought they were going to be anything. Voted last by all the media in their conference, like making a playoff run. I love it. Say it with your chest.
Emory Williams 1 for 4 through the air. Miami has turned to its ground game, and now another batted pass. Will McLaughlin nearly took that one the other way.
Yeah, and this is what Iowa State's got to do on defense. John Haycock has got to get extra guys into the box, force Emory Williams to win this game with his arm. We've talked about this defensive structure, 3-3-5. So normally just 6 guys in the box. That time, an extra defender down there, 7 guys in the box. You got to sell out to stop this run, giving up 300 yards. So you can't do it with 6. You got to start adding, put the ball in Emory Williams' hands, force him to make a couple plays to win this game.
As a team, it's the best rushing game in Miami Bowl history. They're over 300 yards. A little shake from Jordan Lyle to pick up a few. And as an individual, Damian Martinez, who's got 179, as the best rushing game in Miami Bowl history.
This is where they want to get him, though. 3rd and 5. Passing situation.
You look for Arroyo if you're Emory Williams?
I think so, right? Arroyo or Jacoby George. George not on the field, so it's going to be Arroyo at the top of your screen in the slot.
3 catches and 5 targets for the Miami tight end. They swing it out to Lyle out of the backfield, and he gets taken down. Turns into a loss of 2. Zachary Lovett in the middle of that for Iowa State.
That's just a great job by this Iowa State defense, more so on 1st and 2nd down, of slowing down the run, putting him in a pass situation, and then just rallying and tackling. Something they didn't do well in the Big 12 championship game. Good job setting the edge there, forcing the screen back inside, and Will McLaughlin, one of those guys to finish it off.
Remember, Miami faked the last one. Dylan Joyce to punt it away. Mason Napper is their long snapper. Cyclones came after it, couldn't get pressure on him. It's a 43-yard punt. Cyclones with 6:34 to play. Down 6. Kyle Conradi was the Pop-Tarts Crazy Good Player of the Week with that walk-off field goal in the winner over the Hawkeyes. And late October against UCF, down 5, 1:47 to go in the 3rd quarter. Beck cashed it in for the win. And then Utah Carson Hansen ran 3 yards for a touchdown to take the lead. Utah missed a final field goal attempt. And that was the final score at Iowa State with the win. The toss to Jalen Knoll. Scampers out of bounds after a gain of nearly 5.
Again, I think you're seeing the effect of not having your best receiver, Jaden Higgins. This defense for Miami has been able to kind of zero in on Jalen Knoll. Taylor Mauser's tried to move him around as much as possible, get him opportunities.
Well, Lance Guidry made it clear to us, talking about Higgins and Knoll. He said, we've got defensive plan to put extra eyes on both of those guys, and we will make someone else beat us. We will not allow Knoll and Higgins. So take Higgins off the board. It leaves a lot of attention on Knoll. It's allowed Carson Hansen to have a pretty good game, but Hansen, no gain. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
They got to be able to protect Rocco Becht-Tier. Ruben Bain, Malik Bryant, Simeon Barrow, they've all been getting a lot of pressure on Rocco Becht the last few drives in these passing situations.
Becht looking for Knoll, has to hang a U-turn, steps up, still on the run, had a man wide open, will tuck it and take it himself. And he scrambles for an 11-yard gain, and ISU 1st down.
Boy, this time it was Tyler Barron on the inside. Normally at DN, he's going to come with the initial pressure on the right side, and Becht does a great job of spinning out and then getting back up through the pocket. We saw him do that a drive or two ago and not pick up the first down. This time he does.
Cyclones have all 3 timeouts remaining. Carson Brown on the perimeter. Third-year sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa, at a Dowling Catholic.
Yeah, you still got plenty of time here. All right, don't feel like you got to get away from the run game. Most of the success today for this Iowa State offense has come from those tight ends getting heavier, getting the run game going. Got plenty of time with those 3 timeouts and a little over 4 minutes left.
Handed it off. Usama takes it past the 45 for the 1st down. Now we've got an injured player for Miami. Jaden Harris, sophomore from Atlanta, tended to by the Miami athletic training staff.
Well, that last run was student body right. All 3 interior offensive linemen pulling to the right. And Sama with the hurdle, getting vertical at the right time. Literally guard, center, guard, all pulled and ran around the right side.
Watch Harris, bottom right of the screen, number 7 for Miami, went down before anybody got there.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Look like he's trying to slow down or change direction before one of those big offensive linemen gets a hit on him.
Harris, a great player at Riverwood High School in Sandy Springs, Georgia. His dad, professional soccer player in Columbia, and he thought that that would be his future on the pitch. There's a 3-star recruit coming out of Riverwood, is standout wide receiver and defensive back, and for 4 years also their starting punter.
And they're already thin in that secondary with 2 guys out. Had to move some pieces around. True freshman Zaquan Patterson's been playing a lot more. Mish Powell's been moving around on the back end. Not an opportune time for this Miami secondary to lose another one on the back end.
Well, Rocco Becht had it going in the first half. He's thrown 3 touchdown passes today. They gives him 25 on the year, 2nd most in an Iowa State season, trailing only Brock Purdy. Threw 27 touchdown passes in 19. And Jaden Harris slowly making his way back to the Miami sideline. Cam Ward started this game, set the Division I passing record for touchdowns, passing Case Keenum in the process. An extra year to do it. And cashed in nonetheless. 4:13 to play regulation. Great crowd here today in Orlando, and they have been treated to an absolute thriller. No motions to the wide side. Got man coverage up there. Beck gets it to him in a hurry. Catch made and taken down before he can spin for the first down. But that is pitch and catch for 9 yards. He'll take that all day.
Yeah, such a good throw from Beck. Again, with pressure in his face, he's going to come out a little sidearm around the defender, right on the money to Knoll. Again, another one of those times they're trying to move him around to get that matchup.
And to the ground game, a hesitation, and it's a run for a loss. Busama didn't make it back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, a textbook tackle there from true freshman safety Zaquan Patterson. Came off the back end, squared up Sama. And if Sama would have just fell forward, he could have picked up that first down.
What do you like on 3rd and 1? Obviously 4-down territory. They're down 6 in a bowl game, 3 minutes to play.
Yeah, I like getting Rocco Beck on one of those half rolls. Get him outside the pocket a little bit. They've had so much success doing that.
He wants to throw. Down the sideline. Caught! Jalen Knoll, the first down for Iowa State. 29-yard strike. Cyclones in business.
Well, it's the tight formation, causes a little confusion. You see Markeith Williams, the safety, coming off late to Jalen Knoll, and he's able to turn the corner. Look at the throw from Rocco Beck.
And remember, one of the reasons Williams is on the field is Harris left just a couple of plays ago due to injury.
Yeah, and he was kind of late adjusting to that tight stack formation or bunch formation there. So he was attacking Jalen Knoll flat, and Knoll was turning the corner, going vertical, and was able to run right by him.
The tight ends in the game for Iowa State. Beck throws, pop pass, incomplete. Trying to find one of those tight ends. Steve-O Klotz, guarded by Mish Powell.
Well, the second time they tried to hit Klotz on a little pop pass. And the second time it was well defended, that time by Mish Powell. Coming from behind, getting a hand up. Really good coverage. Know where that ball could be thrown.
Well, this will be the 10th play of the drive for Rocco Beck. Beck looking for Knoll. He is there. And he gets inside the 5-yard line. Deani Hill over the top of him.
Well, that's the matchup Miami wanted. They were traveling Hill with Knoll. Excuse me, that's a matchup Iowa State wanted. Man coverage on their best receiver.
2 minutes until we put a Pop-Tart in a giant toaster. Iowa State down 6 for our post-game trophy ceremony. 2 minutes to play, 6-point game. Beck with a check at the line. Looking for Knoll on the slant. Goes over the top of that. It's incomplete. And there is no flag. Well, they had him set up perfectly and tried to fit it into Isaiah Austin.
A little RPO there. Beck liked the one-on-one coverage. Pushed this one on the back hip. Tightly contested by Williams.
Should that have been a flag?
Watch that. I feel like his left hand maybe pulled him down a little bit. Oh, yeah. Left hand is on the shoulder pad, so Austin's unable to rotate his body back around to catch that back shoulder. I think that's a flag miss there.
2nd and goal now for Iowa State. Beck keeps it in his hands. Lobs in zone, incomplete. Burkle is being ridden out of bounds, but at the same time, Maui Noah and Clark had pressure on Beck. There is a flag.
holding. Defense, number 20.
Zaquan Patterson, freshman defensive back, gives Iowa State a fresh set of downs at the 2.
I was just about to say, hindsight's 20/20. You think with a first down inside the 5, they would have ran the football, gotten heavy personnel. They didn't, but now they are. You see the hold here on the far left side of your screen is Patterson working on Gabe Burkle. Now they're in that big, heavy set, 7 offensive linemen in.
They switch and move back, and they go direct snap, option look, and Hansen gets tripped up. Trying to get creative. That full house backfield, Raul Aguirre, comes in to make this tackle.
Yeah, Hansen kind of lost his footing from the start there. Kind of stumbling all the way through that run. Now second down inside the 3.
Rocco Beck pulls it back, looking in zone. Now has to scramble. Throws off balance, and it's batted in the air and incomplete. Ahmad Moten was in his face.
Oh, it's a really good job by Francisco Maui-Noa, linebacker, kind of redirecting. They're trying to slip Gabe Burkle backside off the misdirection. You see Burkle work here. Maui-Noa is going to work this way and then redirect with Burkle. A little bit of contact initially, but in good position there. A lot of contact, but that's kind of the way they're letting it play down here in the red zone.
Six-point Miami lead over Iowa State with 1:05 to go. We want to thank Cheez-It and Pop-Tarts for their generous donation to the College Football Playoff Foundation. Learn more about the CFP Foundation and Extra Yard for Teachers, the largest sports entity dedicated to supporting educators. Go to cfpfoundation.org. So it's all or nothing for Iowa State coming out of the timeout. 3rd and goal.
And remember, you got 2 downs to get this, right? You're down 6. Field goal does nothing, so you got 2 downs to get 3 yards and a touchdown here. Once again, in that big 7 offensive lineman heavy set.
Clutch the fullback, hands to the tailback. There's Hansen straight ahead. And they say he's short. And Miami uses a timeout. Mario Cristobal came all the way out to the hashes to get the timeout call.
Second charge timeout. Miami, please reset the game clock to 59 seconds.
Watch Hansen as he dives through. When does that knee come down?
Second charge timeout. Miami, 30 seconds in length.
The ball ends up crossing.
Game clock is set at 59 seconds. Start on the snap.
It ends up crossing the goal line, but tough to see at what point that knee actually comes down. There. And can't see where the ball is at that angle. If you piece that with this view here to try to get an idea, just not sure you're going to be able to see anything that's definitive enough.
It was ruled short. 59 seconds to play.
And it's going to come down to a 4th down. We've seen them in this situation go the quarterback sneak, right? It worked earlier on the other side of the field in the 3rd quarter. Do you roll the dice and go quarterback sneak on 4th down for the game?
Well, Carson Hansen has had a big game. He's got 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 through the air. But Rocco Beck is the winningest Iowa State quarterback over a 2-year period in school history. 4th and goal, under a minute to play. For the Pop-Tarts. Beck keeps it, and he surges in. Iowa State with the lead. They're an extra point away from popping in front with under a minute to go.
Boy, Miami comes out in a little bit of a different defensive front. Last time they attempted the quarterback sneak, Miami had the guard and the center covered up. This time there was a little bit of a hole in that A-gap. So Beck takes it right up the center for that touchdown, and a really smart decision by Mario Cristobal to call a timeout.
Wesley Bassett is being tended to, by the way, by the athletic training staff.
But that timeout at least ensures they have an opportunity. If you don't call that timeout, obviously, clock runs down, and that play probably would have ended it either way.
We showed you what Conradi did in the Iowa game with the walk-off field goal, game winner with 6 seconds left on the clock. And the redshirt freshman from Dubuque will have an opportunity to win it, essentially for Iowa State, with 56 seconds left. I hope Bassett is okay. This is a lot of time they're taking, making sure he's all right, and finally to his feet.
And I'm going to say something a little crazy. If Iowa State makes this, does Cam Ward think about coming off the sideline for one last drive, 56 seconds left?
I think he thinks about it.
I mean,
a tougher decision may be by the coaching staff of do you let him?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, because he made the decision to not come out in the second half. Obviously, with his future being a top 5 NFL draft pick.
Well, he was right next to their offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson. So for the lead, Cal Conradi. Conradi for the point after. It is good, and Iowa State is in front with 56 seconds left. It's already the winningest season in school history. Cam Ward getting loose. 42 points, most in a bowl game in program history. And the first time they've overcome a deficit of 10-plus points if they can hold on to win this thing. Ward is just playing catch. Don't forget to check out Capital One postgame. Immediately following our game, you'll see an anthropomorphic turnaround. A mascot will go in a toaster and come out pastry. But then if you're watching now, you probably already knew that.
And then the whole team's going to eat it.
Yeah. We get to take any with us?
Cole definitely will. He'll be down there grabbing.
I'll grab you guys some.
Yeah.
An eye or two.
So again, what we just saw there, Cam Ward, no helmet, no anything. So this is going to be Emory Williams here with 56 seconds left and one timeout. They sure love to get a little bit better field position here with this kickoff return.
Jace Gilbert will kick it away. They want to bring it out from just inside. Here's Jordan Lyle. That popped at the 19. So here's the moment for Emory Williams. Emory Williams is 2 for 6 today for 6 yards with action in the second half in relief of Cam Ward. Xavier Restrepo, the leading receiver for Miami, opted out of this game, not on the field. Sam Brown unavailable. It'll be the youth that'll try and get it done with 51 seconds to play for the Hurricanes.
And they'll really want to try to get the ball across the 40.
They give Borgalis a chance as long as 56. Hit as he throws, and a wounded duck falls incomplete. 47 seconds left.
Yeah, really good pocket there. This is where Emory Williams, his internal clock's got to be going off. Can't sit there and hold it. If nothing's there, run and get vertical if you can. But can't have a negative play, can't have a sack on this drive. Want to try to maintain that timeout as long as possible.
Well, McLaughlin brought the pressure that time. 2nd and 10.
And Arroyo's been the go-to guy, the tight end in the slot right here. He's got one-on-one coverage.
Williams has all day, and that one's delivered just a hair low. Dangerous pass. Jontez Williams was draped over Ray Joseph.
And Williams initially looking to his right, got a corner and a flat route, nothing there, so comes back to the dig backside. Ray Joseph, and just a little late. That one almost picked off by Jontez Williams.
41 seconds left. Down by 1. Three-man rush for Iowa State. Williams delivers, and the crossing route to Shamir Kirk, and he gets taken down. Miami will use its final timeout. 32 seconds remaining.
Third and final timeout. Miami, 30 seconds.
Miles Mendezoon had to come off the field because his helmet popped off. 32 seconds left. What limited playbook for Emory Williams relative to what Cam Ward can do, but in and out, on and off script, I should say. And try and give Borregales an opportunity. What can you do with 32 seconds left, needing 4 yards for a first down?
Oh, you got to look for a matchup, right? And 2 plays ago, they had Elijah Arroyo in the slot with a one-on-one matchup. He ended up running just kind of a 5-yard stick route. If you can get him in that kind of matchup in the slot again and have him attack the middle of the field, get him on the run, maybe a crossing route or an over route, try to get him in space. He's your most sure-handed guy out there right now. Again, out there, top 3 receivers, and also Jacoby George not out there, so a lot of new faces, including Emory Williams, the quarterback.
Well, they granted Miami its timeout.
And Arroyo there in the slot. Looks like he might get a bracket coverage.
Got to pick up a first down to keep the game alive. Needing 4 yards. High, caught right at the marker. And that is a first down. He stayed in bounds. He was going backwards when he crossed the sideline. So the clock will roll after they spot it. 26 seconds left in regulation. Remember, Canes got that timeout back just a moment ago. Didn't get a great explanation why, but they have it in their pocket. Hit as he throws, and that one falls incomplete. 15 seconds left. Joy Peterson got into Emory Williams. Matt, why did Miami get that timeout back?
Well, if you notice, the defender's helmet came off during the play. Therefore, the option of a 10-second subtraction comes into play. Miami declined the 10-second subtraction. By rule, the clock will start on the snap. Therefore, they can keep their timeout.
There was Mendezoon who had to leave the game after his helmet popped off. He's back out there, lined up against the left tackle. And now Iowa State uses a timeout.
Charge timeout. Iowa State. 30 seconds.
Absolutely frantic finish to this one, with Emory Williams at the controls for Miami. Cam Ward trying to coach him up.
I think he's telling him you got to get a chunk play here. Throwing it underneath is not going to do you any good. You need 30 yards to kind of get in that range of a career-long field goal of about 56. So if you can get to the 40 or the 39-yard line, you at least have a shot. And with that timeout still in your pocket, you can attack the middle of the field, but you got to push it downfield, try to get a big chunk here.
Miami led this game by 10 in the third quarter. Iowa State chipped away and able to force a field goal, allowed them the wiggle room to go ahead. They got Borregales, who's as good in the clutch as anybody. Got to get it into field goal range. 3-man rush. It is incomplete. In and out of the hands of Miles Purchase.
And the windows are really small. Iowa State's dropping 8 guys into coverage here. Williams just trying to get, Ray Joseph up the seam, just sails that one a little high.
It was Jeremiah Cooper nearly picked it with Williams right next to him. So 3rd and 10. That close, you said. 10 seconds left. Williams has time. Fires short of the marker. Miami has a timeout. They use it. Looking at 4th and 1 with 3 seconds left. All right, so I don't know if Emory Williams.
3rd and final timeout. Miami, please reset the game clock to 4 seconds.
This would be about a 70-yard heave to get it just to the front of the end zone. If that's not in play, what else is for Miami?
Well, it's just that play where you just try to play hot potato and keep it alive, right? Get the ball in play and then start pitching it. Keep somebody behind the ball carrier at all times. But I don't like throwing that underneath route, right? And if it was a Cam Ward or somebody with a little more experience, you realize that does you no good, right? You might as well have at least tried to throw it downfield and gone no yards. Yeah, because you're not going to get into the end zone anyway from that spot. So that's just that inexperience from Emory Williams, being a guy that hasn't played a ton of football. And here on this play, I don't think Emory's going to be able to throw this 70 yards, so I'd expect this ball comes out and then pitch it around as much as possible.
Miami fans remember the game at Duke, Halloween 2015. They won with a last-second lateral across the field. Going to heave it. Won't reach the end zone, and it's intercepted by Iowa State. And the Cyclones, with the takeaway, seal the deal. It's Drew Surgis. Iowa State with its first ever 11-win season. Critics will say you can't really build momentum in games like this. The offseason is too long, too chaotic with the transfer portal. But with everything that Iowa State has coming back, starting with Rocco Beck and their head coach locked into a long-term extension, Matt Campbell, for Iowa State, this feels like something you could build on.
Oh, I think it means a ton, right? 11 wins, obviously for the first time in program history. And with everybody coming back, and you see there, Surges giving some love to Bo Freeler, who he replaced, their heart and soul. Injured early in that game. Surges with the late interception to seal it was the one that replaced Freeler. What a